Auntie, is that you? Yes. Bring in the crime dogs. It's time.
Unraveling these mysteries. Stay a while and share your thoughts. Help us break down this mystery. Grab a seat. We guarantee you're in wonderful company. Unraveling these mysteries with Mr. and Mrs. E. Unraveling these mysteries with Mr. and Mrs. E.
Welcome in, everybody, to the Mr. E Crimecast. I am Mr. E. I'm joined by Mrs. E. And, of course, our guest, Aunt E. How are you all doing tonight?
I'm great.
Great. Well, we are excited to be back. It was a huge week last week with media and everything that happened. There's really a lot we could talk about, but we decided to really kind of focus tonight on the Coffindaffer interview with Dog, and we'll talk about the others and everything else that happened also, and of course, kind of go back and answer some questions on the live we did with Joseph Lesniak, which we thought went great, and we learned a lot from that, and kind of want to hear everybody's opinions and thoughts on that too. So first, just want to welcome everybody in. I know we've got several of our mods here. Thank you to K Jude and K Mac. I saw Lady Tit for Tat earlier. Not sure who else might be in. Is Marlena? Okay, Marlena. Yeah, Marlena, good to see you in here too. And of course, lots of our favorite regulars and subscribers and members. And we're meeting new people all the time too. Welcome to all of you as well. I know a lot of you are finding us for the first time. Probably because of that Lesniak interview. So welcome to our channel. And I always love seeing all the green hearts, and I think Seth might be in here too. So welcome in, Seth. I saw you earlier.
Go ahead and apologize.
Yeah. So if you don't know, one of the reasons we were drawn to this story in the first place, just before we ever had a channel, was our son, our oldest son, has autism, and so we are in Sumner County, and so when his disappearance happened, of course we caught our attention. Anytime really we hear these stories about a child with autism getting lost, disappearing, wandering away, it always just grabs our attention, and we always end up following those because and I know that's the case for many of you actually, just getting to know all of you over the last few months, that many of you, the reason you're here is many of you have a child with autism, a grandchild, a sibling, cousin, something like that, and that's what got you emotionally invested in this case in the first place. I think that's probably, if there's one thing that ties this whole community together, it's usually that we have some connection with autism and that. So, but anyway, that was my son. That was a happy sound from him, so that was a good thing. So if you ever hear that in the background, that's okay. That's what that is. And let's see here. So we. And our son got to meet Seth at the vigil, and
yes.
That was our son did great. Sometimes those events are a little harder for him, but he actually had a great time at that vigil. He did well. And
you want to say hi to specific people?
Yeah, anybody you want to highlight or say hello to?
Well, I see right off the bat, I see SS Butterfly Kisses. I see Lisa B. Always. There's Rosebud. Let's see who else. Michelle Vincent, welcome.
Car guy. And then Graham M. He said that he was having withdrawals, so he was glad we have a show tonight.
Yeah, busy work week for us. So this was really about the only time we knew this week we could do a live. And
we're still trying to figure out the day for our members only true crime trivia. So I hope you're working on those questions, Aunt E.
Next week gets better, but this was just a busy week
for me. Because I'm going to be out of town. I said this week's kind of hard for me because I've got a doctor's appointment out of town and then leaving town Friday, be back Saturday night, but possibly could do it early next week.
Are you coming here?
No.
Oh, okay.
I am going.
Sometimes you come here for doctor.
You would know if she was coming here because the house would be really clean.
Well, that's okay. Yeah, that's okay.
No.
He's saying come, so the house will be really clean.
For the study I'm in, I've got to go for a visit.
Oh, that's right.
I see.
I forgot.
Okay. Well,
okay. Let's see. Who else? Let's see. Who else?
Little Miss Sharon.
Yes, thank you. Sorry, I'm behind.
That's all right. Lisa B. Always. Hello.
Yeah.
Sam's Pretty Paranormal. Dreaming of Blue Skies and Sandy Beaches. Michael says he's been a member for a while, but first time he's joining us in chat. So welcome, awesome. Michael Edge. Alicia Cardwell, welcome. We have a lot of people. Go ahead.
Purple World. I'm just names I recognize. That's all. All right.
Oh, and Graham said, how do we participate in the crime games? He is a member, so you get to,
okay.
You want to explain that a little bit?
What we do?
Well, yeah. So what we when we started this and we started getting members, we thought, well, we didn't want to have do a paywall for content, so where you would miss lives and things like that. We didn't want to be. That's just not the way we wanted to run the channel. But we wanted to reward people that were members and had, supported us in the channel and everything. So we just decided to that we would do a true crime trivia night for each month for the members, and it's been a lot of fun. We've done 2 of them so far. We just do them for prizes and that kind of thing, and it's just kind of a way to hang out and play trivia for a couple of hours and kind of just be us and kind of more relaxed atmosphere. We don't publish that or do it or anything. It's just for the members. So it's just kind of a fun thing to do kind of in the midst of this, and it helps us to kind of connect and get to know everybody too. So it's been a lot of fun for us. So I think we'll keep doing that for the members, and our goal is to do it before the end of each month. So how do you announce that? Do the members?
I usually do a members only post to announce it, but it'll be before the end of the month, I hope.
Yes.
Yes. I saw some other people in here that I know. Pat Wicks, welcome. Tiffany, welcome. And you already said hi to Sharon Marlowe. Let's see. Tori Hathaway, welcome. Let's see. Bobby J, welcome. We've got some new members. Oh, hello, Ginger Girl, welcome. Oh, that's it. He's going to bed.
There he goes.
It's bedtime.
Yeah, he's winding down.
Okay. Oh, and Nana's Dragonfly is here.
Hi, Nana. How are you doing?
Moon.
Ginger.
Periwinkle Moon is a member, and she's here tonight.
Yes.
Bobby J.
Closer to you, Donna.
Let's see. We got everybody's just hopping on tonight.
Yeah. Let's see.
Yes, Seth said he was glad that our son enjoyed the vigil. He posted back up there a moment ago. And, it's this one thing I've thought about a lot with this story, actually, is that how differently, autism affects kids so differently. Mm-hmm. And, in some ways, some ways are so similar, and some ways are so different. Like our son, his autism is fairly severe, and he, unlike many kids with autism, he actually loves events like the big crowds, the group parties. We took him to the Tennessee football game, and he was great. He loved it, even with all the chaos all around him, the fireworks, the cheers, all that stuff. And he was, he does great actually in those kind of environments, and that's not really typical. It's one of the reasons, I'm kind of curious, about Sebastian as a personality. I always like to hear what he's like, because you just don't know how his, because it's so unique to each child. That I always just kind of wonder how he reacts to things, what his awareness was, what kind of things would bother him and might bother our son, but not bother him, So anyway, that's I don't know. It's an X factor unless you know the child, which we of course we don't. But so we're always interested to hear what he was like for those kind of reasons too. It helps us to understand the situation.
Sorry, I was giggling at Car Guy saying "Go Vols." I thought that was.
Yes. Yeah. So that was we had a great time up there, and
I don't know. Can you and War Eagle be friends?
Sure. I don't get crazy on that stuff with the sports as far as
Pat Keebles gets some orange hearts.
We can certainly be friends. I don't get that crazy on it. But
Hi, Sea Star. All right. Well, do you want to get started on the show? Anything you want to cover before we get started?
Yeah, I think
I've already had to block somebody.
A leftover.
Yikes. That's quick.
Yeah, that's okay. Someone said, Lisa. Lisa says,
you're getting good. He's got to learn this because I'm going out of town.
I don't remember this name. So Lisa Rose says, I saw a picture of Sebastian in a game. He looked very happy.
That's what's on our thumbnail.
In a game?
Isn't it the?
I haven't looked at the
game
thumbnail
show.
For tonight. Oh, yes, yeah, I have seen that video. Yeah, it did look like he was having a good time. And some kids with autism, those sounds and things like that game show thing, that might be overwhelming and troublesome, and some they're not. It's not for my son, and some it's just interesting how differently it can affect.
I did remember one thing. So for our members, we added a lighted up green emoji for you guys, and I just put it in chat so you guys could see it. I think I did.
Yes, you did.
Awesome.
Okay. Oh, that's cute.
Yeah. So just to kind of remind everybody that a lot of people are getting their green light bulbs and putting it on their porches or around their house to light it up green. Sorry, we've got a dog that's locked down. To light it up green for Sebastian.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'll be right back. He's gonna whine the whole time.
Oh, I missed what she said there. She was talking about the lighted up green for Sebastian.
Yeah, just the different bulbs. Bulbs are sold out everywhere.
Yes, well, I think they said even YouTube was sold, or not YouTube, even Amazon was sold out for a while, but then they said that they were back again. So you can always check Amazon for your green light bulbs.
And
we know people that are doing this. We know people that are looking for these bulbs and buying them and putting them out, like personal, like friends that do this.
That's awesome.
So it's and I've been seeing the pictures everywhere. Some people are decorating this green like it's Christmas time.
Yes.
Some of them. I mean, it's like.
Well, this time of year is a good time to find those green light bulbs and things because Halloween, they'll be green and purple and orange light bulbs all around. Plus, with Christmas, right after that, there'll be other green light bulbs.
What? It's great. Just it's a nice, peaceful, subtle way to show support, but it also can spark some conversations. People like why is your front porch all green or whatever,
right?
And you can say, oh well, I've been following this story, and it kind of can cause a conversation, and it's kind of a different new way to bring awareness to his story, So it's it's great. It's hard. I mean,
and I just looked them up on Amazon. They have them in 2-pack, 3-pack, 4-pack, and they even have floodlight, all for outdoor, and they start at like $6. So you can find them pretty cheaply on Amazon without any problem. I just put in green light bulbs. And
Michelle Vincent says they are on Amazon. I got mine there, and they seem to have a lot of them. Yeah, they keep going in and out of stock. I thought K-Mac had purchased all of them in the nation for a little while, but they're back in stock. We did have one gift membership. Hey, Jude, thank you so much.
Oh,
awesome.
Thank you, Jude.
All right, cool. Let's see. I'm almost there.
I want to do this one real quick. Can I do this? Okay.
Yeah, of course.
Lisa says, I'm a mother of an Asperger autistic child who is now 20 years old. I would be like a mother wolf out on the streets looking. I am a mother who protects my kiddos. Yeah, I mean, I think that's how a lot of us feel. I mean, there's so. It's another reason that this story is so so powerful to all of us and has kept us so invested. Is that it's the combination of him being a minor anyway, and then also the autism and a couple of special needs, his chromosome deletion and everything, and that young people with special needs are so vulnerable that they demand our protection as a society, even beyond just the parents. We all have to rally to protect those people. They're the most vulnerable people in our society. And if it looks like someone's done harm to them, then we owe it to them to try to find answers and put pressure where we can. And and so that's, I think that's part of why I think everybody's so drawn to this also, because it's if anyone did him any harm at all, it's, we need justice on it. And anyway, this last week was, I think, a great week for Sebastian and his case and his mystery. It was I've thought of it sort of as a media blitz in a lot of ways. Mm-hmm. They've got a strategy, this at night investigative group, and they've kind of said that they were going to have a strategy going into everything. And what it appeared to me was last week was the media strategy portion of what they were doing. So they
kind of a launch.
Yeah, they went everywhere. They went everywhere they could, and not only do they do their own personal social media with X and YouTube and everything else, but they kind of went all over the place in various locations. We were fortunate that we got to have the interview with Joseph Lesniak, the attorney for At Night, and then Dog goes on Jennifer Coffindaffer's show, which I had mispronounced that in the past. I think I'm getting it right now.
You didn't let me do that.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Hey, Jude, thank you so much for your gifted membership. And I think it was given to Kib Kitty. I think that's what it says.
Kid Kitty?
No, it's KIB. Kib Kitty.
Okay, great. Well, congratulations.
Congratulations. Please let Hey Jude know that you appreciate her. And we do appreciate you. And also we do our little welcome to the crime dogs. That's what we call ourselves. Okay, now you can get back to it.
Yeah,
I don't want to.
So we had those two interviews. Then you also had Seth calling into the lab. And I don't know if you didn't watch that or didn't catch this. He called in maybe in the second hour of the show or so, and it was great. Yeah, those guys. I mean, it's a great show anyway, and I think they're going to start doing these call-in things, which is really nice. And it was a really good interview and kind of more insight into Sebastian and more. It's a well done show in general, and so to have Seth call in, he was great. So that was good. Then you had them all the whole crew come out for Court TV. With Dog and the attorney, Bruce Castor, which we actually haven't ever talked about, but he's part of this group also, and he's a heavy hitting attorney as well.
Yes.
He's got a huge career.
He's very well known.
Yeah, I mean he's been an attorney general and a prosecutor. He's had his own practice. He was involved in he represented Donald Trump at one of the impeachments. He was involved in the Bill Cosby in Pennsylvania. Which keeps coming up, this Bill Cosby, Pennsylvania thing. So there must be some connection with all these people with that case, with how people started to meet or something, because Bill Cosby just keeps coming up over and over. But he's put away all kinds of bad guys over his career. So, so he's on board there. So you had that, and then you also had Bullhorn Betty doing the interview with Yada, a distant cousin.
Yada.
Yada?
I think
Yada or Yada?
I don't know.
I don't know. Yada was
potato. I say potato.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think it is Yada. I think that's right. And
if it was a J, if it was a J, it would be Jada. So that's why I thought Yada.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a good point.
Oh, yeah.
I did want to say hello to Soul Shine for Christ. I've been sub since almost the beginning of your channel. Usually stay in the bushes, but wanted to say hi to everyone. Well, we're happy you came out of the bushes. And I also wanted to say hello to CJ. CJ came back to visit us. CJ had some weird stuff happen while he was in town.
No kidding.
Mrs. E told me a little bit about this. So that's unfortunate. I'm sorry that happened.
But thank you for coming to search. We appreciate you.
Unfortunately, that's not the first time we've heard stuff like this.
Yes. Actually, Dog talks about it in the interview. So.
Oh, yeah. About the threats and things that have gone on. Yeah. So if you don't know, CJ Media, he was out doing a search, I think, near this cemetery, if I understand this correct. You know better than I do. But
I think it was yesterday, wasn't it?
Right. It was yesterday.
Yeah. We actually went out to that cemetery like a month or so ago, just kind of looking around.
We didn't get out of the car, though.
No, we didn't. We just
That's the same one that we went to as well, right?
Right.
this is the same
when
one.
you were in town.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's like two, like not the neighborhood next to, but like over
Right.
from that's kind of in between his high school
Mhm.
and their neighborhood. And I guess apparently, I guess CJ was doing a search over there, and while they were out and came back, his serpentine belt had been cut or stolen off his vehicle. I don't remember which one.
It was completely gone. So he was with the narc divers. I don't know if he pronounces it narc or narked.
I don't know.
I've heard it both ways. Anyway, they were together and they looked everywhere for it, couldn't find it, so it was completely gone.
He said both.
Oh, he said both.
Both that it was in a pronunciation or the serpentine.
I'm scooting down as fast as I
He
can.
said it disappeared completely.
It disappeared
okay, so
completely.
it was stolen.
Yeah.
Wow, that's those aren't cheap.
No.
The serpentine belts. So that's that seems targeted.
And
Oh,
said they had
so,
company in the woods today.
Oh.
cut and still. Oh, like somebody probably would have had to cut it off to get it off, I suppose, quickly.
That's terrible. I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah. So I mean, and this is the kind of stuff it's over and over. It's these types of things have been going on for 7 months, and that's just really incredible.
All right. Let's see.
But anyway, sorry that happened to you, and I good luck with the investigations. I understand why you did go to that cemetery. We thought that was an interesting spot also, because
there's a lot of weirdness over there.
And the way it goes from a cemetery to kind of like into a field, it's kind of weird in the back.
And you could cut through to the school.
Yeah,
it was very strange.
It's a very interesting area just because of it being so out of sight and that kind of thing. And there weren't a lot of cameras. There's a little church or whatever, and maybe 1 or 2 cameras could potentially pick you up if they work. But it did seem like a spot that you could either meet or swap off or hide evidence, anything of that nature. So I understand why you're checking that out. I think it was an interesting area also if you're looking at places within that 5-mile radius. But anyway,
Lisa opinion. She said, just wanted to let you know that they released the helicopter video from Sebastian's church on the 27th of February. So where did they release that?
Like today?
That's what she said.
Interesting.
So that if you could send us like a link or how we could see that would be great.
Yeah, our chat bot's not working to put in everybody's links and things. I'm not sure why it's not working. I keep playing with it and it's not working. So I thought I had added one for CJ in case he came in. I don't know.
If people are going, if at this stage of the game, assuming this is somebody trying to intimidate and not just some punk thief or whatever. What was that?
Truth Sleuth. I've seen Truth Sleuth in other chats. Thank you, Truth Sleuth.
Thank you, Truth
Welcome.
Sleuth.
And for our new members, we always do a little bit of this. Welcome. Thank you so much for joining. Welcome to the Crime Dogs. We'll see you at trivia next week, hopefully.
So let's just say, basically on this serpentine belt, he's got kind of 2 options, right? It's either some kind of just jerk punk kind of thing to do, somebody just being not realizing who you are at all, and it was random, or if it was targeted because of who you are and why you were there. If it was because of who you are and why you were there, then that might imply that the bad guys, the suspects, have something to be worried about and are not feeling too comfortable right now. So I know it's very unfortunate for you, and I'm sorry that happened to you, but it might indicate that they're not going to get away with this, because if they're still 7 and 8 months out trying to scare off and intimidate people, then they're not feeling too comfortable with walking away cleanly. That would be my interpretation of stuff like that.
And Tiffany gifted a membership. Thank you so much, Tiffany. We appreciate you. And just so we get on track and get moving, I'm going to do a quick little stars and say thank you with the stars. Thank you so much, Tiffany. We appreciate you. Sorry, I'm a bit sleepy today, and I'm really upset. I'm a little distracted, guys, because my I don't know what's going on. Is it StreamYard or is it
What's
YouTube?
wrong?
Well, Grandma Chachi is Charlene, and now she's not a member for some reason, showing that she's not a member, but she was a member a couple minutes ago. This is so weird. Charlene changed her name. She wanted me to let you know, but she's Grandma
Yes,
Chachi.
I did catch that. I knew that she changed.
Okay. That is so weird.
I don't
like
see her here.
Yes, it's showing her not as a member, and I know she's a member. That's so strange.
Well, I just thought I'd see how it looked to me. I don't know.
We're just having a lot of weirdness going on, guys, tonight with everything, and I apologize to mods that the chat bot thing's not working. I don't understand what's going on. The chat bot usually helps them, put stuff in chat. So I apologize.
CJ, I don't know you very well, but I'm just curious. Do you do private searches? Do you do public where you ask for help? Because if you do, we'd be happy to announce any public searches that anyone like that wants to do. If you want assistance from us to put out a notice that you're doing a public search or something, we'd be happy to help anytime you're doing that. But if you're doing your own thing for this reason, so that you don't get attacked privately, then we'd be happy to keep that on the loop too.
He may not want it. People to know.
Right. He may not want people
after
to know.
this for sure.
Or maybe a couple of volunteers to stand around your car while you search.
Yeah,
it's something like that.
That's crazy.
Yeah, that is crazy.
I mean,
I think if I'd heard stuff like this one or two times, I would have thought, well, it's just. But I mean, we're like dozens of situations.
He said that they do both.
Okay.
I guess.
Well, if you ever have anything, we're happy to put that in there for you.
We're always happy to announce any searches, events like that anybody's doing. So feel free to email us, and we'll announce it whenever we have a live if you've got a situation like that going on.
Yes. Well, we ought to get started. We are already almost 30. Yeah, we are.
Well, I think this is an interesting thing anyway.
Oh, it is
very interesting.
Because it's part of it.
It just continues to show that that people that are trying with good intentions to help look for him are being subjected to some kind of, I don't want to call it terrorism, but things are being done to cause them not to feel safe.
And unfortunately, it has been a little bit effective. It has been effective. There are people that have been scared off just privately. People just they're following the story. Creators have been scared off. And so it has worked to a certain extent.
Yeah. And they do talk about that in the Jennifer Coffindaffer, interview with Dog. He talks about that some.
There's lots of people that were involved in these stories early on, and they're not around anymore because of stuff like that.
Welcome to the street.
Oh, sorry.
That's up to them. That you can't blame them if they're fearful,
Right?
And that kind of thing. So, so anyway, so we just kind of overall just felt like there's the strategy coming in. I thought was, and Nick kind of said something like this in one of his YouTube videos. He had said that their method is they kind of go with these 2-week strategies, and that they're implementing their 2-week strategy now, and then after that they kind of assess and they go forward with their next 2-week strategy. So we're kind of at the end of that 2 weeks, and Nick's actually been a little quiet YouTube wise for the last 2 days. Mm-hmm. So I kind of feel like, just looking back in hindsight, that the social media kind of push was the plan for initially, right? So they tried to get to a lot of different outlets, a lot of different creators, lots of different methods to kind of get the word out and announce what's going on. They were trying to shake the bushes, of course, and see what happened. They came in trying. To me, it appears they came in trying to be somewhat controversial to kind of rattle people and shake things up. I think that was part of the method. Also, is my opinion on that.
Yes.
So now, I don't know what the next phase will be.
Oh wow, this is interesting. Something else that happened to CJ. He said, I came first in mid-March. I was 1 hour from Hendersonville and was warned. It was constant for the first 3 months we were there, and a reason we had to back away. Couldn't let my team members be in danger.
Wow.
That's just crazy.
Yeah, I think I had heard that about. So we didn't start our channel until April or so. So a lot of the things. And we weren't aware so much of the YouTube world of the story. We were following it more through kind of mainstream reporting. Our local news, Nick Barris, Facebook posts, things of that nature. So we didn't know this YouTube corner as well until we started our own thing sometime in April. So a lot of these stories we're not as familiar with, like what happened with the Uvalde and the Cajun Navy and these guys. It's all been sort of in hindsight, and us kind of catching up on that.
We heard about it in the news, but we weren't going live then. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's but I think I had heard that about you before, that you'd had some trouble like that.
Yes. Okay, I'm trying to fix this bot. Sorry,
Okay.
I am distracted as I'll get out. I apologize.
It's okay. So anyway, I think it was largely actually successful last week in terms of, I think it appears to me that everything's kind of refocused on Sebastian again. I think everyone's kind of getting back into the story. People are sort of revisiting interviews again and looking at the kind of the early facts in the early days and of the case. There's not, there's always going to be a little bit of heat, and there's going to be these various things, but they're really wild, over the top accusations, the really unfounded stuff because it was getting kind of crazy. It seems like it's kind of getting, I don't know. It just seems like it's tamped down a little bit on the temperature with everything. People still have their theories and their opinions and feel very strongly about them, but it seems like I don't, can't speak for everybody out there. There's so many true crime channels, who knows, but my little observation of things has been that that people are being a little more civil again, at least for now. So no, okay. Well, I don't know. It just depends on where you look, I suppose. But it seems like things are a little bit better, and people are. We've got folks doing the green lights and sharing those pictures, and there's a positive element to it. Maybe I'm just choosing to see the good.
Well, I think the good still
things.
outweighs the bad, because I think there's still so many people that are tied to the case. They just want to see it through, and they want to see him found and reunited with his family. And I think there's just still so many good people out there that don't want to give up on that. And I think that good is just outweighing the bad in certain ways. And I think a lot of people are just not going to bow down to the threats or intimidation.
Yeah.
Right. And thank you, Pat Wicks, for your super sticker. We appreciate you. That's very nice of you.
Thank you, Pat. We appreciate that.
And I'm giving some stars.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. We appreciate you. Sorry, there's something really weird going on with this.
Anything we need to worry about, though?
I don't think so.
If our
it's really acting strange, and I apologize, guys. It's kind of wacky. I don't know what's going on with it. So
if it doesn't work with the emojis, just don't worry about it tonight.
It's not that. It's the it helps the moderators out. Yeah. It's like a bot that helps them so they don't have to type all night long. So I'll work on it. I don't know why it's not working.
Do you want to read this?
Oh,
since it's directed to you, Auntie.
Sure. It says Shirley H says, it seems like when someone gets close to breaking this case, threats, protection orders, stalling, and cease and desist letters start. And yeah, that's kind of been the case throughout. I mean, whether it's to YouTubers or whatever, there's been, there's always somebody trying to put up roadblocks to get the attention off of finding him and on all the drama, for sure.
I'll tell you of our interview with Lesniak, the thing I was happiest to hear from him was that he wasn't looking to shut down like people that wanted to cover the case. Just even right. They weren't seeking gag orders. They were seeking specific issues that they were having, and because if it had been a gag order thing, I would have had an issue with that, because
right.
I would never want to silence people for their opinion, but it seemed like what he was talking about was outside of that, so that was good to me, because I would have had a hard time supporting that kind of idea, but that doesn't appear to be what was going on there. At least that's what he said.
Oh, okay. Somebody sent us the helicopter footage.
Okay. And this came out today.
Let me just you guys keep talking. Let me work on that for a second. Oh, well, that didn't take long. Okay. I don't know this creator. I don't know if they allow this, so probably we'd have to.
We need to request.
Probably not a good idea.
Okay.
I wonder where that creator got the footage.
I don't know, but I don't know this creator personally. Like if it were Justin or even, people that we know, I would be happy to do it. But since we don't, I can't do that.
We hate to
But
do it without permission.
I hate to do it without permission. So I will
And how long ago did they put it out?
10 hours ago.
Yeah. Okay.
So, I mean, I can.
You want to view it and just kind of give us the gist of it?
Yeah. It's long. It's like 40 minutes long, and it looks like it's all footage. And I will want to look at it. Maybe I'll reach out to the creator and ask permission to use it. But I don't want to use it without asking. So, but thank you. Looks like
that'll be
someone
great.
very nice sent it to us. So we appreciate you.
Thank
sending
you so
it
much.
to us.
Thank you for doing that.
We will definitely look at it
and before,
what it is, it'll be great information to have for people that are really trying to piece stuff together. That was from the 27th.
Mm-hmm. They said it was from his church. Is that correct?
It's like
church.
Yeah, that area, but it's like 47 minutes long. So I'm guessing, but if that's unless there's commentary in there, and I'm not sure, there might be.
I would prefer not to do it unless
we haven't watched it.
If we haven't watched it, and I would like to get permission. And hey, Jude, I just emailed you a list of the shortcuts so that could help you. It looks like it's working temporarily.
Someone said they had 500. Let's see, Liza says the creator had 500 followers this afternoon. They got to 2,000 plus an hours. Yeah, video like that'll do it.
That's
great. Good for them.
But thank you for sending that, and I appreciate it. Well, I want to look it over though before.
Thank you so much for sending it. Though
that is very sweet.
Yeah, it is. So that'll be great for us to kind of dig on and see what we can learn from that, because that'll probably we'll have to kind of look through it.
Right. And then there was one other thing I wanted to mention.
Hi, Don B. Welcome in.
Welcome in, Don B. Do you want me to pull up the video? And if so, where do you want me to start?
Oh, do you want to do some of the? Go ahead and do some of the coffin.
Well, we can do whatever you want.
Yeah, unless we can always talk about other things.
No, that's it. Go ahead and talk about what you want to talk about.
That's okay. I just to kind of lead into this, I guess.
I will look. Lady Tit for Tat's asking me a quick question.
Okay.
So.
And what I did is I just kind of made notes and had some time marks for different statements that I thought were important. But I had 4 pages of important things. So
okay, it looks like it was from a News Channel 5 helicopter from February 27th, pulled from Facebook Live, posting here for archive. But it's still not,
It's not their footage. They say
it's not their footage, but they obviously someone had pulled it and gave it to them. So,
well, if it's free on Facebook, you probably can pull it yourself from there.
Yeah, but it's about 40 minutes of helicopter footage.
Well,
so.
I think it would be good if we could condense it, look at it, and maybe we could show some pieces of it.
Well, what it would be good for, we could go through there and see things like, because what it says even on their description is that you can kind of get a feel for what the construction site was actually like.
At that time.
We could go back and see, like the overhead view of what was really going on that particular day, because, it's changed because there's been more homes built.
Yes, there's a lot that's changed over there.
Thank you, Kelsey. We appreciate you. Let's see.
Yeah, Kelsey says, can we get more of a description of the types of threats or in what form they were received? Y'all keep it up.
Well, that's something that I know Dog brought up in the Coffindaffer interview about the types of threats, and he wasn't very specific as well, but I'm not exactly sure. CJ might be able to say what kind of threats he received, whether they were phone or email or what, but I just know that it a lot of creators, a lot of people that have searched, and then we know that the other searchers that were in the beginning, Uvalde, they pulled out because of the threats immediately.
Yeah, like I said, if it had been 1 or 2, I would almost dismiss the threats and that kind of thing. But there's been so many. I mean, it's like everybody.
Everybody that's looked just about.
Yeah,
I know that even Terry Lynn has gotten threats. She has said. I don't know if she's talked about what kind.
She's mentioned, I've heard a lot of things. She's mentioned a few different types of things that have happened to her and her car and people who are with her, their car as well.
Gotcha.
So, so CJ says, on location stalking in our lives, emails, etc.
Okay.
And that's the impression that I got from. I'm not sure, and maybe Kelsey can ask or can clarify. Was she specifically talking about just creators, people in the area, or Dog and Nick and people like that?
I took that question to mean overall.
Oh, okay.
I
That's
did
kind of how I
too.
took it. Like just all of these, you know, how are they coming in?
And then, yes,
that's what
Callie Curtis is right. Nick stated that some were via email and via text. That's correct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you know, people think they have ways to mask these emails, and maybe they are masked and maybe not.
Oh
yeah.
They
Kind of
word-
like
Yeah, they word them in a certain way that you know
You
what they're
know,
saying without saying it.
like
yeah.
running protesters over in the streets, those kinds of
Yeah.
subtle threats, the kind of veiled threats.
It might be best if you don't go today, you know, those kinds of
Right.
things.
It may not be good for your health if you're out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Threats without really saying, I'm going to, you know, unalive you or whatever, you know.
Right.
And Nicole Goforth is someone who's been following us on Twitter. Or, sorry, X.
Nicole says, I was in Atlanta for several months this year and being so close wanted to come and search, but the reports of threats kept me from going on my own. I pray these threats stop soon. Yeah. I mean, which would make you think that maybe if he's not alive, then it would make you think maybe he is out there someplace that you could search because someone's trying to scare people off.
And I would think that these threats would also be something the police would want to investigate, because if these threats are going out, why would someone be doing that to hinder the people searching? So it would make it seem to me that that person could have some part in what's happened to Sebastian. I mean, to me, it would be something I would think the police would want to investigate. I don't know if they have been, but I would think.
I mean, that's the kind of stuff that they supposedly reach out to Secret Service for, because they've said that Secret Service has been assisting, and that, from my understanding, that's the kind of stuff they do. So maybe that's part of what they're doing, trying to find out where this stuff comes from.
You know, when we were talking, Mrs. E and I were talking today earlier about just how crazy this case is. And Graham says, when has there ever been another investigation like this with threats and crazies? Insane. And it is very unique in the kinds of things. I think in a lot of criminal cases, I know there was a lot with some other cases that I've been like reviewing footage of, that there's some threats, but the threats were centered around other things, not just for people searching and looking. And I think that's what's made this one so crazy is all the people wanting to cover it, but yet all of the people on both sides trying to hinder the investigation.
Oh my goodness.
Oh my gosh, True Sleuth. I don't even know what to say.
Can you push show?
Yeah.
I got it.
Wow.
I already did it. Well, thank you so much, True Sleuth. That's incredible.
Can you read it?
Yeah, Mr. E, I feel that creators like you, Justin, CJ, and others who are about Sebastian and other missing persons and children should get together to create a true crime roundtable to collaborate. Could you imagine how much could be accomplished and cases could be impacted? I know what you're saying. What we're trying to do. We're trying to be supportive of everyone, you know, as long as people are respectful and kind to us. So we're trying to be supportive of anyone that's respectful and kind with us. You know, that's out there doing it, even if they're,
even if we have differing opinions,
and, you know, different methods. I mean, we all have different approaches to all of this. You know, we haven't been doing searches, but we completely support people that are doing searches. We bring our own, what we think to the conversation. But yeah, I know what you're saying.
I think it's something to discuss
I
for
do.
sure.
I do.
I think it might be an interesting idea.
It is something.
It would be a collaboration for sure.
But I don't want to be involved because he's the one everybody wants to see.
You know, everyone. You know what's funny though? That everyone calls it the Mr. and Mrs. E Crimecast.
Yeah,
and
but
the name of it is actually the Mr. E Crimecast.
I know.
But everyone always calls it Mr. and Mrs. We may as well just change the thing, because that's what everybody calls it anyway.
I'm trying to phase myself out.
Well, and that's why if you were curious why anyway, we just originally she was not sure how much she wanted to be on the camera
still
at all,
not.
because she's not you know, she would
I'm not
almost prefer
comfortable.
to be in the background working rather than on camera. And And so that's kind of why we were like, well, we'll just make it the Mystery Crimecast. And if you want to be on the camera, you can or not. And
Right.
it's always been, that's why it's like that. But anyway, so I think it's interesting, and I'm always happy to help anyone if I can. You know, like I was saying with CJ, if he's doing a search and he wants our help, I'm happy to promote it. Terry Lynn, we've done that for her. I've never even talked to Terry Lynn. We promote her searches.
The vigil.
I don't know anything about her.
Yeah.
Anything to support finding him is something we want to be a part of. You know, we want to help support those people that are working hard to help find him.
And you know, but having conversations and things like that, you know, that I think it's a good idea. I think it's a good idea. We just we are still kind of new to all of this and kind of learning the landscape of all of it. And but that's, you know, that is interesting.
Cindy,
That's definitely something to discuss. Thank you for the suggestion, and
thank
thank you for that super chat. That's probably like our number one, like, biggest super chat.
absolutely.
Yeah,
And thank you so much. So you know what? I'm sorry. I know you
You'll
guys
have to do. Yes,
you
we
gotta
have to do the thank you.
do the thank you video.
We have to do our thank you video. Thank you so much, Truth Sleuth. I really appreciate you. Or actually, we really appreciate you.
absolutely.
Sorry. Thank you so much. That's so sweet of you.
I want to read this from Cindy K.
Sure.
Also, all the threats and such make me think if and when there is a court case, it'll be a RICO case. Might not be as huge as Diddy, but RICO doesn't just mean something on that scale.
You're right.
We've
talked
thinking
about
this too.
that.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. I think that is possible. And I think people, the good thing about criminals generally are not very intelligent compared to the rest of the population. And the reason for that is that they wouldn't be criminals in the first place because they would understand that the risk and reward and all of that are not worth it.
Right.
You know, that throwing your life away over one bad decision, you know, is not worth it. So they generally are low IQ people that don't understand. So they're easier to catch. So that's one of the reasons I always have hope that this case will be solved, is that criminals were stupid to get in this situation in the first place. So they are likely to make a lot of mistakes
Right.
throughout, you know, like threatening people through email that can probably be traced by the Secret Service and things like that.
Truth Sleuth said, you did a great job of that. That's why I really enjoy your channel. I have some ideas if you would like to chat sometime. We would love to chat with you sometime, Truth Sleuth.
Absolutely.
Our email address, I think if this thing's working, I'll put it in the chat. If this thing's working, we'll see. And if you wouldn't mind to reach out to us via email, we would love to talk with you. Aw, Sam. She's the sweetest. She's my Twitter buddy.
Thank you, Sam.
And then Alicia says, or is it Alicia? I do it wrong every time I think.
We could just go Hot Wheels. Hot Wheels.
Hot Wheels.
I had to pull over to ask, can't these people threatening be charged with impeding the investigation and or hindering prosecution once he's found?
I would think so.
It's probably like what CJ's saying, though. If they're doing the veiled threats and it's subtle enough, then you get the message without it being so direct. And then are you going to get a conviction? Can you even trace these people? And, you know, law enforcement, are they going to follow up on it? And, you know, I think there's probably a lot of issues there, but if you make the threat subtle enough, you get the message without probably committing the crime, I would guess. So
I'm just checking to see if the email thing. Okay, it is working, guys. The bot's working right now for me. Just so you guys know. So our email there is mretruecrime@gmail.com. And Trooper's mom had a good, you know, just a night, you know, differing opinions could be one that breaks the case. Right.
Yeah.
You know, we could put together differing opinions and maybe come up with something. You never know.
I mean, that's part of what we wanted.
Speaking of which, I've got to share this.
Okay.
Oh, you go on.
That's really part of why we wanted to have the channel done the way we do this, is we wanted to be a free brainstorming, logic, deductive reasoning kind of place to go. We didn't feel like that really existed here. It always seemed like it's kind of like, here's my point of view. I'm going to press it on you and push the idea,
Right.
rather than being open to, okay, here's a theory. Where are the flaws? And we present theories and try to find out what the problems with them are and what the likelihood is. And I think we've actually made a lot of progress. Like early on, let's do this first.
This was this
this
craziest
crazy
story.
Do you want to read it?
Well, and Granny is the one that found it this morning.
Gran E.
That's what I said. Granny.
Yes.
Gran E.
Gran E found it this morning and sent it to me, and then I sent it to them because I felt like this just kind of gives you hope in a lot of these stories that you think are always going to have a bad ending. So I think if you guys want to read through it or talk about it, it's
I'll
awesome.
pull it up. Kidnapped 6. This is from the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. If you are not following them on X, you should. They've got a lot of they share all the missing people, and it's a great organization. Kidnapped 6-year-old found alive 70 years later reunites with family. So I'm going to go ahead and open that in a new tab. Share this tab instead, and we're not going to play the video, but oops, it's going to try to make me.
You're going
it's
to play
trying to make me.
I don't think they give you choices anymore.
There you go. You want to read it?
An Oakland niece is celebrating after decades of perseverance helped her family reunite with her uncle, who was abducted from a West Oakland park in 1951. Luis Armando Albino was 6 years old when he was playing at Jefferson Square Park at 7th Street and what is now Martin Luther King Jr. Way with his older brother Roger on February 21st, 1951. A woman lured Albino from the park, promising promising the boy in Spanish that she would buy him candy.
Okay.
The woman abducted and took him to the East Coast and raised him there as her son. That woman has since died, family members said. Now, more than 7 decades later, Albino has been found thanks to help from an online ancestry test, old photos, and newspaper clippings. The East Bay Times first reported the stunning story. In an interview Friday with KTVU, Albino's niece, Alida Aliquin, 63, shared some details of that story, including the fact that her uncle remained missing despite the efforts of the Oakland Police Department and the FBI. His family never gave up searching. Aliquin was determined to find him and got a big break after taking a DNA test online in 2020 just for fun, matching with a man on the East Coast. The test showed a 22% match with a man who eventually turned out to be her uncle. A further search at the time yielded no answers or any response from him, she said. My daughter found a lot of pictures of this man. We started comparing, Aliquin said. The resemblance was so strong, how much he looked like my other uncles, and then another picture where he looked so much like my grandmother, that one gave me chills, and I said, there's something here. Albino's mother died in 2005, but never gave up hope that her son was alive and that he would be found. So that's just crazy.
70 years.
Wow.
That you could solve something like that at that point. I can't imagine what that was like.
I just thought that was so interesting. Sorry. And I thought it was kind of a good news that, these things can still be solved. Yeah.
I mean, there are stories. I mean, that's why there's, you don't give up hope. You just don't really know.
Right.
It's what we don't get on Sebastian. Our theory has been that he left the home alive. I think that's what a lot of people think that have really dug in on this case. We don't know what happened after. Only probably a handful of people know what happened after. But I think he left alive. So that gives you hope that anything could have happened at that point, But we just at this point don't know. But there's you got to have hope, and you got to keep going until there's answers. And even if it ends up being the worst news, then we'll find justice for him because he deserves that too.
Sorry, I'm gonna just push up. If I missed some good chats, I'm sorry. I've got to try to catch up.
Opinionated said that, she said, I had a great aunt who went missing at 16, and 40 years later, her mother got a letter addressed to their old address. The postmaster remembered the family and forwarded it to her. So I'm guessing it was from the daughter, and they forwarded the letter. Wow.
Oh wow,
That's crazy. Yes, and DNA since the perfection of analyzing and getting DNA, so many crimes have been solved that they've actually gone back and used DNA to solve. Also, just it's amazing what the geological DNA can do now to solve cases that are years and years old.
And something like this that they get connected because of this postmaster's memory, basically, right?
Right.
And that's why to kind of segue a bit into
Sure.
this FBI, with Coffindaffer and
I'll get
Dog.
it ready while you're doing that.
I know Dog's getting some criticism because he's getting some names wrong and details and that kind of thing. But look, that Dog's got 600,000 followers just on X alone. He's a nationally recognized figure.
And he follows us now.
He follows us now.
And Aunt E.
Yes.
And K-Mac.
Yes.
Dog follows K-Mac?
Yeah.
Good for you,
K-Mac's
K-Mac.
got a lot of followers.
Look at you, K-Mac. That's awesome. So yeah, K-Mac's awesome, by the way. If you see K-Mac in your chat, just know we've met her in person and talked to her. She is an absolute wonderful person. Is in this all for Sebastian. So her heart is absolutely in the right place. If you
absolutely.
if you ever see her out there, that she's definitely one of the good ones out there.
Wait, before we get into that, I have to share this. This made. Did it work? No, it didn't work. There it goes. This made Mr. E's day.
Yeah, this was fun. This was fun. So I think I plug Deception Detective every single live at some point. I refer to him. So great. It was exciting, and everybody knows I love that channel.
Yes. So,
but anyway,
I got pretty happy.
Yeah, that was fun.
I mean, Dog was great, but Deception is just pretty awesome.
They're both great. But the thing with Dog is that the national celebrity, everyone. We didn't watch the show back then. We've been watching it since, but we didn't watch it back when it was on.
I never watched it once, honestly.
I was a huge fan.
I know.
I think I saw almost all of them.
Yeah, they're great. Actually, they're great. It's a good show that we can watch with the family.
I know that sounds weird, but it is. There's no cussing. You see, there's life lessons to be learned that you don't want to end up like that.
Yeah, it's like each one is like you see what crack will do.
What happens?
See what
happens.
Well, they're win our money. Just kidding. We don't care about that.
But I mean, really, there's like these little
drugs
lessons.
are bad, kids.
You see what that's doing to her skin. Those kind of things.
I love it when he takes them down, man. I love those. They're great.
Oh yeah. They're great. So and the whole family. It's so hard to find anything that the whole family can watch. It's okay. That show's good. But anyway, but I'm just saying that everyone nationwide recognizes Dog the Bounty Hunter, even if you weren't watching the show. I knew who he was. I just didn't ever see the show. So that kind of celebrity and awareness, there are tens and probably hundreds of thousands. We're
not becoming celebrities.
No, not at all.
Not at all. But thank you. You're so sweet. I keep Grandma Chachi. I almost called you by your other name.
Yeah. Well, we'll get there. We did the same thing with K-Mac.
Yes, we did.
We got there with K-Mac too.
We did.
Nobody wants to have their serpentine belt stolen and things, so people have to be careful,
right?
Unfortunately, that's where we are.
And Trishy is right with you. She used to watch it all the time.
I did. I mean, we watched it all the time.
Trishy and I had something interesting last night. We were both over in the lab and we were discussing some stuff. And Trishy, I hope you don't mind, since you put it in the chat, Trishy had cancer. We were talking about, it was about trauma. The lab was all about trauma last night. And Trishy had cancer. And then I had put up, after I had cancer, that I had trauma and I didn't even realize I was having it because it was something like, I was waiting for the other shoe to fall all the time. I was always worried somebody else was going to get really sick. And Trishy said, yes, I felt the same way. And then my 8-year-old got leukemia. And I said, that's crazy because our 8-year-old got leukemia.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Isn't that weird?
Wow.
So we had kind of a bonding moment last night.
And this was with who?
Trishy 818.
Trishy 818.
Wow.
So I think that, unless I'm just absolutely crazy and dreamed that conversation. So I thought that was interesting.
Interesting.
Yeah, there's a lag tonight. I didn't do the low latency. I messed up.
And I thought this would be a good lead into tonight's episode because it says people should not underestimate Dog the Bounty Hunter's huge team of professionals. Dwayne has the basics, his team has, or gets the evidence that convicts. And he does. You're right, Mama Bear. He has lots of resources.
Yeah, so he's at the phase where he's the point man, he's the figurehead or whatever. He's the face of his group. He's not down there doing all of the dirty work anymore, and doing all the. He's got people, and he's probably keeping some of those people out of the public eye. So that's all. That's all okay. People have Let me read this first, though. From Nicole, Dog does lots of misdirection, a tactic. He purposefully says things wrong to get the person he wants to talk to reach out and correct the mistake. He did that a lot on his show. It is a tactic because there is a thing when you say something wrong, people always want to correct you about
That's
it.
right.
So you can, if you want attention, get something wrong and everyone will come out to correct, because there's this tendency people have. To do that.
To want to be right.
Right.
I can think of someone in this case specifically that would not like to be proven, wrong. And so I could see that.
And let's say that's not the tactic. I had another thought about that I've been expressing to him, all the time, is that, we have been here in real time. A lot of us, most of us, I would say, that are here have followed this in real time and have had all of this time to absorb. We've had nearly 7 months to absorb all of this information, and learn the key players and to learn the minutia of the case and of his disappearance, and just go over it and over and over.
We know the names like the back of our hand because of that.
Exactly. And Dog, and even Nick for that matter, and Han and all of them have just come in. They've only been here a few weeks. Dog especially. Dog's a 71-year-old man. I was saying this to him. I was that even my own mother calls me by my sister's name, all the time, and she's known me for 51 years. So
sure,
she named you,
and she named me, right? But she calls me by your name constantly.
Yeah.
And that's okay. I don't mind that.
I do the same thing with my daughter and you. I call you guys the wrong name all the time. I think it's something that's easily done.
So my whole point is that he has just gotten here a couple weeks ago. So, maybe he does call Sebastian Nicholas or Seth Sean. I want to cut him a little slack on this. He's covered thousands and thousands and thousands of cases and has all this stuff in his brain, and he's got information overload like we all do. So let's just give him, if he's here in 7 months in the future, then, and if he doesn't know stuff, then we can give him a hard time, but, hopefully everything's solved by then, but you never know. But anyway, that's my little soapbox for tonight. Sorry. That's been bugging me.
Well, Bea in Florida had a good comment with that. She said, Dog is purposefully talking in puzzles targeted at the suspects, and it drives the black and white thinking creators crazy because they want to take everything literally, and that is to a T.
That's a great point. That is a great point. There's some really new faces in here tonight. We're happy to have you.
You actually took the words out of my mouth, because one of the things I had planned on saying tonight was, and I've heard this referred to someone else in the past, but for me, with Dog and his team, I'm not going to take them literally, but I am going to take them seriously. Right? So they're not reporters. They're not like journalists. I'm not looking for historic accuracy from any of these people, but their actions I will take seriously going forward. But if they get a date wrong, they get a name wrong, that's not what they're there for. They're not here to set the historic record straight. They're here to get people to come forward that are uncomfortable talking to the police. They're gonna look at it in a new way, new methods. A lot of people respect Dog, and lots of you just don't know. Like the story we just talked about with that postmaster remembering the family. You just don't know what somebody out there knows that might. What if? And this has happened in other stories with abductions before. What if Sebastian were left in a vehicle and he became cognizant enough to realize he was in trouble and try to get away, and maybe there was an incident on the side of the road? Some trucker drove by and saw some weird thing happening with a kid. It's in the back of his mind, but doesn't know the story. And then he's watching one day on the news, there's Dog the Bounty Hunter, and he goes, I was in Hendersonville, Tennessee around that time. Oh, I did see a kid.
Right.
You just never know what incidents or things may have happened out there. It happened with Gabby Petito. It happened with Madeline Soto. All these people that because of social media awareness and media, there's no way to look at Dog being involved as a negative. There are so many eyes that are now going to see this story just because of him. It's a net positive, even if he gets Sebastian's name wrong.
The sheer magnitude of capturing 10,000 fugitives, 10,000. That's a huge amount of people. You can't be stupid and do that, or you can't take things lightly and do that. So, I mean, he's much smarter than we give him credit for, as far as the silliness in the comments. And like the other person said, he does talk in riddles, but that's on purpose.
First of all, there's a person in chat named Agent 99. I cannot tell you how much I respect that name. Then Trooper's mom says, well, when it happens, Dog and Crew won't get the wrong address or the wrong criminal. Facts.
Right. Exactly.
That's funny.
So I think we're going to see a new wave. This is my theory. I don't know. Don't be surprised if everything goes dark at some point and we don't hear anything from Dog or any of these guys.
You guys are so smart. They're already on top of my points.
When they need media again, they'll come back. But I think don't be surprised if we don't hear anything from them for like a month while they're doing work. So silence will not necessarily mean bad things.
Read that.
I just think this last week they felt they needed the media pressure to bring out the leads, and now my guess is they'll start working those leads, and they might get kind of quiet for a while. I'm just thinking this is the way I would work if it were me.
Right.
This would be now that they've shook things up for 2 weeks. They got the leads coming in. It might, if they think they've got some stuff to go with, they'll start working those people. Anais24 says, Dog made a great point, in my opinion, about who has talked to him and who he would like to talk to, but haven't talked to him.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, do you want to tell me where to start this? I have to actually step away for a minute and make sure everybody's doing their showers and things.
Okay.
Because I haven't heard the shower going.
So you've got some timestamps down, right?
I've got some too. Was there any specific part you wanted to go to first?
It doesn't really matter because there's all these great. There's
nuggets all the way through it.
Little nuggets all the way through.
I mean, I started. My first note was at 3 minutes and 24 seconds, and my last one was at 59 minutes and 30 seconds. And I've got 4 pages of notes. So I've got tons of just little tidbits. But I mean, we could start with the beginning of it where he talks about.
Thank you, Tony.
Thanks, Tony. We appreciate you. And Busby's here. Busby's a very nice person. I've been chatting a little with Busby.
I like that name.
That's great. Welcome.
Welcome in.
Well, you tell me where you want to start, and then I'll go check on the things I need to check on. I mean, there's, like you said, there's nuggets. I can just start at the beginning, and you can stop and talk.
That might be a good idea. I would start at about the 3-minute mark.
Yeah, that's what I have too.
Once she gets past her introductions and
because
stuff.
I have a feeling
my
rules are not being
he talks about at the beginning about his first focus was on the rumors that he heard and it possibly being Seth, and how that he found out very quickly that that wasn't true. That's at the very beginning.
Okay. All right.
Buddies, all your followers, all your friends, all your peeps are gonna get.
Oh wait, sorry, I go fast because I want to hear.
And I can never understand when people do the fast thing. When I listen to other channels and they go fast, it's just like gibberish to me.
Okay.
In on this, and I have found missing children, by the way. And if you get in on this, everybody's, all your followers, all your friends, all your peeps are going to get behind you. So that was the reason that I first initiated in. Then, I'm a bounty hunter, truth and justice, right? And now that I'm in the case, first of all, I thought, someone, maybe his real father could have done something. And because that's what was the rumors on everywhere, right? Then after looking into where he was, what was going on with him, now getting to know him, it was not the real dad. So now it's a bounty hunt.
I like that part right there where he says,
on your show, who I think it is. I'm not sure if I should, but now I'm going after.
I don't know how.
I hope they do believe. I hope they bolt, because I will chase them, as anywhere, even in the Mexico.
I know.
So
I know. I never do this stuff.
That's the
I don't know how
reason
to
I'm in it,
pause it.
and the reason that I'm gonna absolutely, with all the help I've got, we're gonna find where he is and who helped him get away,
She's gonna have
or
to come back.
if he is passed away. Who
You
did
might
that?
want-
You know
I
what
can take it
So
off screen.
We're all praying that he's still with us.
Absolutely, dog. So this is so interesting to me because when you
Should
think
not be
about
that
it,
hard.
right, this goes to the point that
I'm sure Miss
Sebastian's
Missy-
There's a
name
thing on her
wasn't
screen
getting
where you
out
can
there.
hit stop
It was
on
in
the
fact
picture.
a Nick who came to you
No.
and let you know about what was happening here. That shows to me how little attention was being brought to him more on a nationwide stage. In other words, dog, you weren't getting in your car
all
and
right.
hearing about Sebastian
I'll
Rogers.
be right back. I'll go
And
grab
I think
her.
now people are. They're hearing about it even more. People like yourself and many other people.
Well, I think people, Jennifer, were scared because the stepfather, while the volunteers were out volunteering, to help find the boy, he, one lady's got him on video threatening her, saying, "You better get out of here. Just get out of here." Well, she's saying, we're here to help find, your son, Sebastian. The cops are here. That's enough. Then the volunteers on the back of a horse was saying, or riding a horse.
Okay, so I have to go up there to.
Yeah.
You had no idea.
I know.
And I muted Mrs. E and it made the echo go away, but I can still hear you.
Oh, we had an echo too.
There was an echo, so I muted that screen, but then the echo went away.
I see. So we should never do anything techie when at all when Mrs. E is not here.
No, but I think that the thing that he says at 3:45, he says now it's a bounty hunt, and he says he first thought it was the father, and he verified basically verified the alibi, and then Jennifer Coffindaffer goes into yes, and I was going to. Going to be sharing the timesheets that I got from his work, and he is verified. He does have an alibi. And then Dog says, now it's a bounty hunt. He said, I don't know if I will say who I think did it during this program, but I hope they bolt, and I will chase them wherever, even to Mexico. And so I thought that was right there. He was really speaking to the person that did it.
Oh yeah, I think he wants to put these people on notice, and I think he'd almost love to hunt them.
Oh yeah,
because that'd be more in his wheelhouse if it gets to that kind of level. So I think I think he would like that.
One thing we got in. Oh, what?
I just thought it was funny. Grandma Chachi said, after watching Dog, the guilty ones probably need to change their drawers or put on some Depends.
Oh, I've thought that a number of times. I've thought, like, what would he be like to be the person that did this? And there's so many kids that go missing, and you're sitting there going, why did this story become this 7 months later, still like dozens and hundreds of creators out there still covering this. And now Dog the Bounty Hunter of all people gets involved and is like calling you out and saying he's going to hunt you down and all this kind of stuff. That must be just surreal to have that kind of, because this is the last guy you want to have
right on your case. Yeah.
I don't know who else would be worse to hear is on your case than this guy. I don't know.
I just thought that I love that statement right off the bat. Now it's a bounty hunt. And you could just tell he was speaking to the person that did this, who is responsible. I'm coming after you.
Yeah, that was interesting, right? 421 GTO guy, him mentioning Mexico. This is something I have wondered a little bit about their messaging. I wonder if they're going to at times make little subtle comments that we may not know mean anything, but might mean something to the suspects. Because they could do things like that. They could drop like, whatever, a piece of evidence they may have learned. They could do things like that to kind of let them know that they're onto them without the public knowing they're being communicated with, if that makes sense.
Yes.
That's what I would do. I'd play some head games like that if it were me. Sam's Pretty Paranormal says, OMG, if I had dog on my tail, I would just jump in the ocean with a cinder block. And even then, he's still going to find me. LOL. Yeah, right. Coming down with the scuba gear, swimming down to find you.
Sorry, I was away, but I wanted to mention, we didn't play this part of it, but I thought it was interesting when he said that Nick the Hat brought dog into the case.
Yeah.
That he went to him and said, I've got this case I need you to look at. So, and he did, say on Coffindaffer, sorry, that he was Nick was his partner, and he handles all the online stuff. He called him an internet sleuth. That's what he called him.
Yes. And I picked up on a couple things he said about Nick, and that was one of them.
Yeah. So I just wanted to mention that.
Yeah,
and then I don't know how far we got into it
because I didn't realize you could do it.
He didn't know how to stop
I
it.
didn't know.
That's the thing. Okay, guys, I'm going away for a few days in October, and so he's going to have to learn this stuff.
I am. It'll be a very simple show when it's just me.
If you can start it.
If I can even start
and
it.
part of that week, I'm going to be gone too, so I'm not going to be there either. So he may just have to, I'm going to be gone that week too.
We're just going to have to learn technology. So.
He said, I'll be on a panel somewhere where they're
No.
So that I don't have to deal with the tech
yeah, you
part.
just have to come on and talk.
Yeah.
I'm not sure that
Maybe
would
we'll just
work
pre-record and just do something like that.
Yeah.
He may not be able to get on a panel.
Lady Tiffer says practice run Mr. E LOL.
I know.
He'll figure it out. And then K-Max feeling bad for you. All our mods are feeling bad for you.
It's funny because he gets on there. He goes, "This should be easy."
It should be. Yeah.
And Lucy says you can do it, Mr. E. You can. It's not that difficult.
I am feeling a bit like a charity case now. It is kind of true.
Rock and Rhonda says you could do it too.
Yeah,
that's funny.
Yeah, I do rely on my wife for a lot of the technical stuff for sure.
Crimecast for dummies.
Someone said Silver's back searching. Is Silver back?
He was searching. I watched him. I think it was yesterday, the day before yesterday. He was really out in the woods and in areas in Hendersonville area searching.
Oh, he's back here now. Okay.
He was with Terry because she needed some assistance. She didn't want to go by herself in this one area that was pretty hilly. It was some good areas. I watched him. But it was all areas that we've driven around. Some of the back roads. It was some areas that we thought that maybe should be looked at.
Right.
It was about 5 miles to 8 miles out from their home.
Yeah.
We'll see you later, CJ.
Yeah. Thank you, CJ. Thanks for coming in, and good luck, and be safe with with the future searches.
Let us know, and we'll make sure we post your searches if you need some help.
Yeah,
absolutely.
And then Busby says, we have faith in you, Mr. E. You can do it.
I can.
He can. He's kind of a trial by fire type of person. He has to be thrown in, but Yeah,
I have to just learn the hard way.
Okay. So, any other things we want to talk about in that section?
He talks about at the 5:15 mark. He talks some about the threats that we've already talked about tonight. About the stepfather came on camera, said, "Get out of here." He ran people off. They harassed the dog handlers. The people that were on horseback were harassed. He talks about different people being harassed. So that was at 5:15. If you want to focus on that at all.
Okay. Let's see.
We're here to help find, your son, Sebastian. The cops are here. That's enough. Then the volunteers on the back of a horse was saying, or riding a horse, were saying they were harassed too. Then the dog handlers, the bloodhounds, those people were harassed. Now, I did a Brian Laundrie, which is coming on, and I'd like to have you on my dogcast too, please. But I did a Brian Laundrie, and I'm starting a new dogcast. And the reason you should have seen the volunteers. FBI retired, CIA retired, police that were there. This same dog lady that went there from Florida, she had 3 different dogs, a bloodhound. All those people, not just Dog and his team, But all those people started getting leads and leads and leads and leads. And that's been throughout my whole career. Is someone, as you know, you don't look in a glass ball and genie, rub it, and it's people that in confidence will tell us who did it, where they're at, why they did it, and now there's $100,000 reward. So I just can't believe that, the stepfather would allegedly, let's be sure that word's, even though this lady's got him on tape, would run people off. That is, I've done this 44 years, captured over 10,000 fugitives. I understand that, probable cause in your world, you gotta have probable cause. But I was trained, probable cause means probably.
I thought that was key.
You probably did this, or you probably broke into this place. So there's enough probable cause that I'm creating, Nick and I, that even if we don't find Sebastian alive, that the perpetrator is going to be arrested.
Okay, so I thought that was kind of interesting.
Yeah, and I thought, I love that probable cause means probably you did it.
And another,
it's very funny, right?
Another thing he says in there that I thought was interesting is that that people have confidence in him because of who he is, and they feel comfortable telling him something and knowing that they're going to be safe telling him something, that he's going to protect them.
Well,
I thought that was kind of interesting.
It was interesting that the same dog person that was working on the Brian laundry was the same one that came in with Sebastian. I did not realize that.
No, I didn't know that either. Yeah.
And he mentions that there, and that she received threats for the Sebastian case.
And she, Coffindaffer confirms that this isn't just him talking. She's right. It's a people business, at this point with this case. When it gets solved, it is going to be because of people. And, it's just going to be getting the right people to talk. I don't know if we're going to play it later or not, but at one point she talks about how, there are people that will talk to someone like Dog, bureaucrats or people that are just frustrated with the process or don't feel that the case is going to move along or that there's a problem, and they just want movement. They want it solved, and they might go talk to a PI or a Dog or someone else, even a YouTuber for that matter, just because they want this solved. And maybe we've heard all along that people have doubts about having faith in our local law enforcement, and that they may or may not have some friends at the sheriff's office. And so if people feel that way at the sheriff's office, they might talk to Dog. People, Coffindaffer said people laugh at this, but it is real that it does happen. So who knows what doors he might be able to open.
Well, and Opinionated said, if the police are covering up, which I don't think they are, Dog will make it impossible to keep hiding things. And he has said that he says that in this interview a little bit later on, that it doesn't matter. He will follow the chain of command. If he finds out something, he is going to take it to law enforcement. But, he's clear about that later on.
Yeah.
However, I think he's going to make it hard for law enforcement to cover it up if there was something they've been negligent with.
Hey, I just want to mention something real quick. Let's not criticize other creators in the chat, please. We just don't want to do that. We're happy to say positive things about people.
Share
neutral
their links,
things. But like criticizing other creators at all, we'd rather stay away from that. We try to stay. I know a lot of you are new to us because a lot of you found us because of that last stream we did. But we are a drama-free channel, so we don't go after other creators at all. So if you could help us with that, that would be great.
We're not mad or anything.
No.
We just try to avoid it because people have such differing opinions about different creators, and we just try to avoid that.
Yeah. So we, like we did with CJ, we just, positive, talk great about people, or neutral if they're just a source on something. And if we can't think of something nice, we just don't. Yes,
that's right. And then, let's see. I kind of want to skip to this part.
Okay. Oh yeah, that's important.
Or this one. Never.
Whichever one you want to do.
They're all interesting because he
I mean,
talks.
you could literally make talking points about so many parts of this.
Auntie, do you have a specific? I was going to jump to like around the 11:59, 12-minute mark, which is about the thing Chris said to him, or supposedly, allegedly.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's fine.
All right.
Because he's very specific.
Yes. I'm going to start it a little bit early just in case I'm wrong.
Then he allegedly says, Dog the bounty hunter will never, ever, ever find Sebastian. So, so did Andrew Luster. I don't know if you remember that case, 87 counts of rape. They'll never. And I caught Luster in 4 months. So there are so many TV shows out there where, oh, dog, you can't find him. And usually it's the parent or the girlfriend that goes, oh, you'll never find him, dog. Oh, yeah. And they're in the back room. So the never, 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 yeah, I'm going to find him, or I'm going to find out what happened to him. So all those things that side of the family are saying, conclusive evidence. What does that mean? That means, like, to me, that's like, man, what's the deal? Where's law enforcement in Tennessee? Why haven't they went over there? And then he said on a show that he took a lie detector test on Nancy Grace, and Nancy Grace said, are you sure? She's a good interviewer. Are you sure that you took the lie detector test? Oh, yeah. Did you pass? Oh, yeah. And then I talked to a Tennessee officer, and he says, well, I can't really tell you if he took the lie detector. I'm like, bro, that's public information. Well, I think he might have. Well, did he pass or fail? He flim-flammed around where, did he pass? Did he fail? Did he take one? I don't know if he even took one. Now, the real father has taken lie detector tests. Then I put out there, and this is also true, that there is a drug, the name of it, that will, I don't think it's sodium pentothal, something, I think that's a gas chamber stuff. It's close to that.
No, sodium pentothal.
That's it. Oh, good. So you can take that in a needle form, shoot it, and however through the vein or whatever, and you talk and you tell the truth. It's like Wonder Woman's rope when she throws it around the guy and he starts telling the truth. And that they used to use that in the Korean War, and they mix it with nicotine, and they get the Korean GIs that they capture, and they give them that, and they tell secrets. They did a lot of stuff. So that has been used. I mean, that can be ordered still by a doctor. Go in a room, lay down, boom, and then someone start questioning you. So all of a sudden, someone comes up, dog is going to kidnap the stepdad and administer this stuff to him. Well, if it wasn't illegal, yes, I would.
There you go.
And I'll pause there.
Right.
Yeah, I'll pause there too.
Yeah, that's good. That's so good.
So, some of the notes I made there is that, he said that Chris allegedly said you will never, ever, ever, ever find him.
A lot of talk about that today.
And I was actually in a chat over on Brittany J's the other night, and Nick was in there, and people were questioning him about this particular statement.
Oh, okay.
And what Nick wrote in there, and I don't have the screenshots, I apologize, but what I did take note of Nick saying that it was on a 3-way call between them.
Oh yeah, I think I heard him say that
Yeah.
on maybe one of his YouTube videos. So I don't know.
So,
Yeah, because people have been asking where that came from, and that I think
The horse's mouth.
Yeah. So basically,
but I
guess-
found it odd that dog said allegedly. So maybe it's
Well,
because
he does say that a couple times at the beginning that he says, "Oh, we have to say allegedly."
Oh, right.
And
Okay,
so I
right.
think he's just being facetious there.
I think he actually is just trying to protect himself with what he says a little
Yes,
bit.
but he says that at the beginning as well.
Yeah. So the question would be is if they have that recorded or not, and all
Right.
of that. But if would be interesting if they I don't know if they can legally record that if they let him know they were recording.
Well, it depends.
Either way, if that was said,
we learned in Pennsylvania you cannot record. So
Right.
if Nick was in Pennsylvania, maybe not.
well, unless they told him they were recording,
Oh, that's true.
then they could.
Yeah, you have to have two-party permission in certain states.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's if that was said like that,
Right.
yeah, that's.
There were a couple things that Jennifer asked him too that he doesn't really get to that I really wanted to hear. One was, what do you think about them leaving their home so shortly after the disappearance? And he kind of skips over that. He just says nothing at all adds up. That right after she says that, but he does never really talk about that.
Can we just talk about the truth serum?
That's what I was going to say.
Yes,
wanna
the
do this,
truth
or you
serum.
wanna do it?
You go for it because I know you have some strong opinions about this.
Well, to me, the truth serum thing seemed obvious what it was, but maybe it wasn't as obvious.
Do you want to ask chat and see what they think the truth serum is all about?
Yeah. What? How do we ask? How do you want to ask?
You could say something to the effect of, do you believe that dog is going to be using truth serum on people or what?
Well, I think we're already kind of leading them to
Oh, okay.
maybe. So to me, it was obvious that it was always a bluff. That it was
right.
never,
People were really heated about it, though.
I think he was just trying to shake the tree.
Yeah, because he talks about. We may play this later, but he talks about it at some point that when he came in and they were if you remember, their original approach was, hey, this is clean slate. We're working with all three parents. We just want to find Sebastian. And they were like, we're bringing the sodium pentothal and hypnotists, and we're going to do lie detector tests, and making it sound really extreme. And of course, what I think that was it was just kind of a test to see what they would say. How would they respond?
It was a bluff.
It was a bluff. It was to call them and see how they would react. And Seth, of course, as expected, was sure. Sodium pentothal me, hypnotize me, put me up to my fourth or however many lie detector tests he's taken at this time. Of course, Seth would be on board with that. What was the response from the other two people that keep drawing so much suspicion? Was, you're never going to find him, or whatever they said he said.
Well, we don't know what their response was.
That's allegedly what he said.
But we do know a lot of people were outraged by it.
But they're not working with them, apparently. Right? I think it doesn't sound like that they're cooperating with Dog's team.
It didn't seem like that, no.
I think he says it in this interview.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think he does. He does.
I'm not sure that. Yes, I think, has Katie even talked to him at all? I'm not sure.
I don't think so. I don't think he. I mean.
But then what you do when you bluff like that, then you get a real sense of, I see where I need to look. Set Seth to the side, and then I'm going to look at these two parents until we can either clear them or figure out what involvement they had. That's what he was doing. He was just. I mean, it seemed obvious to me that they never had any actual intention of.
No, he was just trying to rattle the pages.
Yeah, it was a bluff, and it seemed like obvious to me. But a lot of people were really upset, thinking that he was going to come in, like True Lies, like have somebody strapped to the chair, and
right.
That's what they. I mean, anyway. So
opinionated.
People may not remember this movie, though.
I just hope he doesn't get the execution drug and the lie detector drug mixed up.
Right.
Yes, I mean, it's they're using tactics, and that's why whoever was saying this earlier, but about him being literal. We're not going to take Dog literally with what he says. He's not a reporter. He's not a historian, but you do have to take him seriously. And when he says that he will push the envelope and take things up to the edge and all of that, I do believe that's true. Kel says, I can't believe people thought that was like a real thing.
I know.
I know. I mean, people believe what they hear a lot of times, just whatever, Bobby J says, it started ridiculous drama with the right people, LOL.
Well,
I mean, it was kind of funny to watch, I guess.
And Cesar says any parent should welcome the help from Dog. Exactly. That's kind of my. Oh, and High Fine Summer.
It's a dream scenario. I mean, who would you want more? Maybe John Walsh or somebody.
I don't know if
I don't know.
In the other, and I wouldn't be shocked if we see John Walsh at some point.
Yeah, maybe.
I think it's in the other interview that he did with Court TV. He says he has 100% rate of finding missing children.
Yeah.
So if that is an option for me and I have a missing child, I'm taking it. So I would welcome it. Is something wrong?
Oh, I was just saying Tennessee nurse.
Oh, Tennessee nurse gets special treatment around here, guys.
Yes, this is also a tradition. I have to highlight at least one Tennessee nurse comment every live. She says, question, do you guys have the Sumner County non-emergency number memorized? Do you think most do? I'm curious because it seems CP must have had it memorized.
Yeah.
Or even in their phone, maybe.
The Sumner
911.
offers, the Sumner County Sheriff's Office non-emergency line.
Yeah.
Everybody knows that.
Yeah.
Our number is 911.
Right.
So,
and they actually talk about that on here as well. Jennifer Coffindaffer brings that up. Do you think that's odd that he called that number? And they talk about the recorded line. Actually, it's at the like around the 18-minute mark.
wait, hold on. Lisa, that's a good point. He said, I won't break the law, but I will bend it until it cracks. Talked about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's, that's what they do. He was talking about garbage and stuff, like how they would, go through people's garbage to find things. And,
Let me answer
they do
this
what they have to do.
for Karen real quick. Karen says, at Mr. E, is it true that a creator has legal rights to Sebastian's story? No, I think that was a misinterpretation by the people that were putting that out there. I think that what they found was a copywritten, or not a copy, maybe a trademark show. Some people, to protect their content on YouTube, what happens is they will copyright it or trademark it. I'm not using the right word for some reason. I can't get it in my head, but they will do that in order to not let people do what we're doing. For example, where we're showing another person's video, they can legally have them take it down, and it's just something some people do to protect their stuff.
Okay.
I think anyone has a right to cover the story.
No, I think what it is, this person, the particular thing that she's talking about, and I cannot think of I think it's the reporter room, maybe lady. She has a particular thing where she did a video about the whole story.
Okay.
And what she did was trademark it or copyright it. And I can't remember. I feel like there's another term that I'm not thinking of right now, but anyway, and people found that and assumed that it was trademarking Sebastian and stuff.
Oh,
Gotcha.
So that people can't do what we're doing,
Right?
Where we comment on videos,
Exactly.
Because YouTube has this fair use policy where
Exactly.
you can, as long as you're not just running somebody's entire show.
Yes, exactly.
Well, and then you do see people do that occasionally. They get turned
you're
in.
We had it going on the other day with us.
You're
so,
not really
yeah.
supposed to do that. You're supposed to be adding value or something.
Yes, it has to be different than the original.
You're not supposed to just take somebody's show and just run it.
But I will say, it has already happened to us. So I understand why somebody, if she worked really hard on a video that covered kind of all the details of the case and did not want to have that copyright, or it's not a trademark, it's a copyright. It's got to be.
It's copyright.
But I feel like that's not exactly what the verbiage is. But anyway, I would feel like, though, if you do, if you work so hard on something, you don't want somebody just stealing it. So, for example, when I did the video, we almost immediately had somebody from another country copy it, like start to finish,
right.
except to cut off our logo at the end.
Yeah.
And post it as if it were their own. And I had to go, hey, first I messaged them. Of course, I didn't get a response, and then I had to get YouTube involved to get it removed. So, because it was our video.
Yeah, you worked on it all afternoon.
I worked on it, and that's
sure.
So I'm assuming that's what that was all about. To answer her question, sorry, I know I got off on a tangent, but that's something that.
But if that's not exactly what you mean, really, Sebastian's story is historic at this point, and anyone should be able to comment
history
on it or talk about.
Right.
I mean, he's a top 10 FBI. It's not the top 10 most wanted, but it's the top 10 on the FBI.
Thank
webpage.
you, Lucy. It's intellectual property. Yes, thank you.
Oh, there you go.
That's what I'm looking for.
Tori asks, I wonder why KP hasn't called Dog and said thank you for coming on Sebastian's case to help find him.
Good question.
I mean, yeah, it's a good question.
So
if okay, it is. I mean, these questions answer themselves, right? I mean, there's a reason we all are looking in the same directions.
Mm-hmm.
It happens over and over and over again.
Well, and Tennessee nurse, kind of follows up on that last one. She says the county I'm in routes the calls the same way as Sumner County, but most don't have it memorized. They'd have to look it up. Seems he didn't have to look it up. All part of the plan.
Well, I mean, we don't know that, do we? Do we know that he didn't have to look it up? I'm not trying to be argumentative. I'm just saying, do we know that?
What we don't, but I think they stated it.
Actually, yeah, he does talk about it in an interview, doesn't he?
I think within 3 minutes of them getting on the phone, he was on a 3-way call.
But it's my understanding that was because he was in Memphis and he didn't. If he routed it through 911, it would take longer. That was the excuse for that.
Yeah, it was some lame excuse.
I mean,
tell us how you really feel, Auntie.
Lame.
Just even having to figure all that out on the phone.
I mean,
we'll need to do this.
Yeah, what person wouldn't just dial 911? Our son is missing. Please help. This is our home address. I'm on my way home now, which he wasn't. Took a while to get there. Blah blah blah.
Because you'd have to have all this conversation about why you're about to have a 3-way call and how you're going to do it, and instead of just saying, "Get off the phone, call 911." Which would have been much faster.
Just doesn't seem practical.
Well, none of that story makes any sense. It never did. Anything that happened between 9 and midnight, that none of that felt like it was reality. And anything that happened at 6 a.m. until the police arrived also felt like fiction. It just didn't feel real. I don't know what the truth is, but I don't believe anything they said about those time periods.
B in Florida says the truth is none of us know if KP could be working with Dog behind the scenes. We don't know, other than what he said in this interview, which seems like they have not been cooperative, right?
Yeah, right. He does say that in the video.
But it's been a few days. Maybe they're cooperative now.
I wonder what kind of strategy that would be. What strategy would it be to? I mean, it's possible, I suppose.
I don't think he would.
Why would you try then to point the finger at? Because he clearly, I mean, he doesn't mince words about it. He points the finger at the house. So what strategy would that be to not come out and say, hey, you know what? This family, they've been great. They've been very cooperative. They're helping us with this. They're answering every question. Maybe there is a strategy there. I don't know what it would be. It also wouldn't fit their pattern to this point where they really haven't cooperated with anyone.
Well, and Seth says Sebastian's mother should have called 911. Yeah. I mean, that just makes common sense. Yeah.
But maybe there is a way. I don't know. And maybe things have changed since this came out. Maybe they changed their tune and, kind of like the FBI reward where when it was first announced, they didn't want to make a comment to Fox 17. And then 2 days later, they thought better of it and decided to release a statement.
Agent 99's got it.
I was going to click on that. That's a good one.
Agent 99 says, I can guarantee you that if somebody called Layla Santinello's mother and said that dog was on her case, she would be jumping for joy. There's people that are begging for this kind of help. Absolutely.
Oh.
It's a total gift. I'm sure. I wonder, has Seth ever mentioned how he found out?
No, Seth's in chat though. Seth is the one that said that.
Yeah, I bet that was one of the highlights of.
I bet your heart jumped.
I bet it did.
I mean, how exciting! Yes.
Yeah, she should have called 911. I mean, it's really common sense that you would need to do that. Yeah, I'd be curious. I mean, it doesn't matter. I suppose we're just kind of curious. Do we want to do any more clips from?
We can.
Oh, another thing.
He does talk a lot about how he ruled Seth out and that he was on duty and he had an alibi. And he said the thing was opportunity is key, and he had no opportunity.
Truth sleuth. I said the same thing.
Mr. E, the crazy thing is that there is a fire station literally 2 minutes up the road from their home.
She would have had to pass to get to the school.
KP could have driven to the fire station faster than the 3-way call and waiting for sheriffs.
That's right. You know that, right? You both know because we've been over there.
We've been by there many times.
Close to the mannequins, K-Mac.
Oh.
K-Mac can't stand the mannequins over there.
No, it's kind of creepo.
So I always like to take a picture anytime we go past the mannequins and send it to K-Mac to see what they're wearing this week.
He also points out something I thought was interesting that I wasn't aware of, and he may just be mouthing, but he talks a little bit about Chris's ex-wife Nina and the chart, the things that she said, and he also said that he had been in jail for that. Were you all aware of that?
See, I heard this too. I'm not aware of Chris ever being arrested for DV. Has that happened?
If you go to the 19 minute mark, 19 minutes, 15-second mark in that area, he talks about that. And then he also talks about camera stuff, which I thought was very interesting. And I think that's something we definitely need to go over.
Sorry, I'm reading comments.
Okay.
So she was wanting to do the video at 19 minutes, I think.
Sure. Sorry, I was reading comments at 19 what?
Let's go to 1927.
Sure.
And we'll leave it on just for about a minute.
How about 1922?
Yeah, that's
Okay.
Okay.
And they tried to take her baby. He physically hurt the baby. He hurt her. It seems like 3 or 4 of his ex-wives have all been beat up and made police reports. The guy's been in jail for that, okay? Now, what she says is I think the last wife, she said he's military. He's got cameras around everything. Everywhere. So where's the cameras in his house? When you have a child like that, where is the footage in his house of Sebastian's room? No one has said anything about that. Nick is very good.
Every time.
Sorry, we don't have the skip. Okay, now we got it.
Yeah,
Wait. Oh, now I'm getting
No,
a
it's
survey. Do you agree?
Hit the skip.
Okay, sorry.
There's a couple other people I know that are very good on camera stuff. So we're digging because, once it's in the cloud, it's in the cloud, right? Well, a lot of people don't realize once that something is recorded, it's there. And of course, I think you got to get a warrant for it. But again, probable cause.
Doug, let me run this past you. So
Is that where you wanted me to stop?
Yeah. I just think that he said Nick is very good with camera stuff. And we have a couple other people that are very good on camera stuff. And he said that they could get warrants. Now, the next part is about the security company, and he calls out who she works for. Coffindaffer doesn't want to say, but then he just calls it out. That was great. That's
play that part.
It's good to be at that point in life where you just don't care, right?
I know.
You just say what you want.
Katie Proudfoot was in the military, and I want to expand on this camera angle just a little bit. Katie Proudfoot actually worked for a company that managed installation of cameras. And I always found it very interesting. Just imagine, you work for ADT or something along those lines. I'm not saying she worked for ADT. I won't name the company she worked for. And you don't have any cameras, or they're not working, they're not covering. You have an autistic child. He's 15 years old. I mean, what do you make of that? The lack of coverage with somebody that was their job.
That is, another thing. There's an old saying, all roads lead to Rome. And I hope it's not the Brinks company you don't want to mention, but when do Brinks let you ride around with your husband in the vehicle?
Yeah, I thought that was odd.
I thought that was an odd comment too.
When do they let you?
Yeah.
See, it's hard to know.
I've never heard that.
It's hard to know because he's gotten a few things wrong. So it's hard to know if at times if he's just misunderstanding something that
This might be one of those things though where he's poking the bear to get a response to say that's inaccurate. I have never done that. That it could be a ploy.
Can we go back just a second now?
Sure.
Because I've heard this a few times now. But I didn't know Chris has ever been arrested for DV.
Me either. Again, it could be something he's saying that may not be true, that he's wanting to get him to contact him and say that's not true, to just make a contact. I don't know.
This is not the first.
That's
This
not,
is not the first time I've
he's-
heard this.
Yeah,
I've heard it a few other places.
I have too.
And now I was wondering, has something come out in the last few days that I'm unaware of? I don't know if I'm ever going to jail for that. The only thing I can think of that we still don't really understand what happened was that when he had to take those parental classes that the judge ordered
Right.
with Nina, and
That they talk about on the
that-
Lore Lodge.
yeah, the Lore Lodge uncovered. But I don't know if he got arrested during that or not. They didn't reveal that if they found that out. So I'm just wondering where this is coming from, or if it's just him being, a
And
misunderstanding.
he keeps saying this phrase over and over.
All roads lead to Rome.
Yeah,
Is
he
that a
said it on
comment?
court TV too.
Yes,
did.
he did.
I wonder if is that his way of just saying, that
Well, all of the
Everything goes
evidence
back.
keeps leading. Everything keeps going back to the same.
home
To the
essentially,
house. Yeah.
I think that might be what he means by that. I'm
I
not
think so,
sure.
too.
But he might be being coy, or like we said, maybe sending messages too. And that's always a great point too about the cameras, right? Because that Coffindaffer's making, the idea that they didn't have any security.
Well, Detroit Rock City said no door or window alarms.
Yeah.
But what's interesting is I heard an interview the other day, and I'm not going to pull it up right now, but with SF, who talks about having window sensors that they were showing that he was walked around the house and shown window sensors. So I thought that was interesting as well.
Yeah, no, I've heard this too, and we've talked about this before. Tennessee Nurse says McDonough hinted at him being court-martialed a while back. So McDonough was saying it sounded like he had some human sources that he knew that were familiar with that were telling him that to check into him being court-martialed. And
Oh, that's right.
he kind of
I remember that.
but we don't know why, and I don't know how. I don't know if you can access that kind of stuff anymore.
Well, if it's
If
true-
anybody's going to be able to
but
do
I'm sure
it.
the police have and the FBI
Yeah.
have. They know.
Well, if it's true that you actually married someone just for better housing and it was not legitimate, I would think there are reasons that you could be court-martialed. But that
was
is
a
also-
speculation though by
That
Lore
was
Lodge.
speculation.
yeah.
That was speculation. And actually a couple different places I heard it, but it was speculation. But those could be reasons for if they investigated and found it to be true, they could be, that could be. But I don't see how you could.
Oh, that's a good point, Lynn M. Does the fire department have cameras? Do they show? Maybe, but we definitely know the school does.
Yeah, school has a ton.
They have a ton.
So so we know. I mean, she
Didn't
claimed
even think
she
about
went to the
that.
school to look for him. But so she would have at least been seen at the school, and she was gone a while. It seems like too.
And I believe actually in an interview with Nina, they asked her. She said that one of the first things she asked Chris when he called her was, why did you not get it on the cameras? Because he always had cameras in their home, and that was, she said, what about the cameras? And I saw it on an interview that she gave, and I thought that was kind of telling as well. She just assumed because he had cameras before that they had continued to have cameras.
I wanted to. I love you, Garrett, but I did want to tell you that, you say Dog has been on the case for weeks and nothing's changed. Well, it looks like Dog has only been on the case 2 weeks total. That's when Nick first came out, right?
And
Yeah, it was about 2 weeks ago they announced they were getting involved.
And I don't think Garrett was on when we first talked about them being.
Okay.
He wasn't on at the beginning. He kind of came in when we already had talked about it. So you could maybe talk about that again.
Well, basically, what they're saying at this point is that they've been getting leads. They're having people. They're doing
the
saying
cycles.
He's got one or two human sources, other leads, and different things, and we can kind of guess probably what kind of leads they're getting. Probably some of the stuff we've heard. Some they're gonna be going through some leads probably that the police have already gone. through.
Maybe the media blitz part. That's what she's talking about. How they went through, they did the media blitz to get the attention, to get the leads to come in, and now they're going to be working those leads for the next few weeks.
Well, just looking,
we won't
back,
hear from them.
Well, that's my guess. This is just a guess, but they said that they had like 2 week plans, like that they would. That's how Nick presented it at first. Was like, we do a 2 week strategy, and then after that we assess, and then we do a new 2 week strategy. That's what he said is how they operate. And so if you look back over the last 2 weeks, what it appears to be is that this was the media frenzy blitz kind of approach is how I've thought of it, where they went on several different channels with several different messengers, court TV to YouTubers to TikTokers, and working, bringing in dog and attorneys and everybody, and
Right.
Seth calling in to the lab, and all this kind of all happened last week, and so it ginned up a lot of new interest and eyeballs, and they kind of set the tone on a lot of stuff, and they did the cease and desist stuff, and I have felt that just watching since all of that the last week things have, I know there's that overall people are kind of refocusing back on Sebastian, maybe better than they were a couple of weeks ago, where it seemed like it was kind of at its peak in the false reporting. Could we say? Would you agree with that?
Sorry, I was reading something.
I got you. I thought you were reacting to me.
No, I just was trying to understand. I just want the subscribers and members to be given the truth when they support a channel.
Okay.
We do too.
Yeah, absolutely. we totally stand for the truth.
I just don't know what they're talking about.
I don't know. If you're referring to us, when we were always happy to be corrected if there's something we've got wrong factually. That's why I wanted to ask about the arrest thing. I don't. That's the last few days are the first time I've heard of this. So I didn't know if it was something I missed out there. I didn't know of him ever spending time in jail for DV. So I wanted to clear that up for myself. But I've heard it a few times, and so I just thought maybe there's somebody reporting it that I'm not aware of.
Yeah.
Rosebud said that I'm nailing it, which is awesome because I think so.
I love Rosebud.
Yeah, the first step is to get a conversation going to weed out things from the other side. Dog has probably questioned Seth in a way as well to prove Seth's innocence, and that makes complete sense.
Right.
And then there was something. Cindy said something about you can be court-martialed for cheating on your spouse.
Oh, okay.
I don't know anything about the military law.
Me
either.
Me either. And then I was going to point. This is what Tony was saying.
Tony says dogs people are working very hard behind the scenes. Many investigators that we are in daily contact with.
Oh, well, that's great.
That's good.
Did we ever talk about this when we were driving around and we saw people were like, yeah, those guys look like retired policemen or FBI?
We didn't, but that did happen to us because we saw these three guys.
We went to go.
We were like, no, those guys have plainclosed cop
Fed
all over them. These three guys were in.
And they were taking pictures of weird things. And
they were.
And they were in downtown Gallatin. And that people don't go to downtown Gallatin for sightseeing.
No, and the way that, because three guys, middle of the afternoon, they had the policeman haircut, and
but they were in plain clothes.
Just the way they carried themselves, you can kind of tell, and
did Seth have a
we were
question?
Like, I don't know if it was their investigators or just somebody else, but
here we go.
Seth says, I have a question that only Sumner County Sheriff's Office can answer. Why did they only take one of Chris's phones, since he told everyone that he has an earpiece in each ear?
That's a good point. That's a good point, because he said he had an earpiece in during the when Katie called. He had hit the one for work and the one for. That's an interesting point.
Mm-hmm. That is a very good point.
I'll tell you, though. I don't know. That's a great
all devices would have been taken. All devices, especially since he was at work when he got hit the phone call.
This is just my own opinion. I didn't believe that story about the earpiece. Oh, let me switch, because there was so much it just felt like a fake story.
Oh, hi Rogue, welcome.
Just the way he told it. So I don't know. I don't even know if that happened that way. But that's a good question. I wonder if was it a work phone or just a separate.
Oh, they won't answer direct questions, kind of like the other people we know.
What direct questions?
He's not talking about us. He's talking about this office.
Oh, gotcha.
I don't think he's talking about us.
I don't know.
I was like,
it could be.
I'm
just kidding. I don't think he's talking about us.
I think he was referring to the Sumner County. They're not doing a lot of talking anymore.
Has there been any statement whatsoever since the initial 7 weeks when they made a statement?
Unless you count Nick Barris, that they kind of use as a person to leak stuff.
I mean, the last statement that I watched, and I rewatched it today just to see if I picked up anything, was at 7 weeks. And they actually had a representative from TBI that got on as well with the man that's now the appointed sheriff. I keep forgetting his name. What's his name?
The new one? Craddock.
Yeah.
Craddock is the new one.
Yeah, because he was the lead on it, and when he came, he spoke, and then he introduced the lady from TBI, and and it was the 7 week update, and I have not heard of one since then. And I'm like, we're at 7 months, and there's not been an update. I think it's weird.
Yeah,
Hold on.
sometimes silence is a good thing. Sometimes silence can mean that they feel like they're not needing the public's help. They're doing the work. And sometimes silence can mean not good. But something I was thinking, I am in the minority, I think, on that. I've felt that Sumner County it's not a corruption issue on this case. That's kind of been my opinion. And I know that's not a popular opinion, but my belief has been that they have been working towards things. They just haven't got it quite buttoned up yet. Coffindaffer was talking about this being a police cooperation case, and she's mentioned it a few times on her show. So
that was at the 24-minute mark. She talks about that.
My thinking would be that if it's a police cooperation case, then the police must be working with the FBI to try to bring closure to this.
Right.
They must have at least been welcoming to it, or even requesting it in some way, or they just wouldn't have got involved at all. Another thing I have thought is if this truly is like a massive corruption issue where they just want to bury the thing, they could just close it out. Mm-hmm. They could just say, no, this is a missing kid. This is not an investigation. There's no one working on the case, and just walk away from it.
Right.
They could do that.
Josh is here. Say hello.
Oh, hi, Josh.
Hey,
this is Josh. Yeah, we were talking about your show earlier. Josh from the lab says you absolutely can be court-martialed for adultery.
Oh, okay. Good to know.
Yeah, I might look into that and see what all the different infractions could be, and not to just be nosy in his past and all that, but patterns. You look for the life patterns. That's why it matters that all these CPS reports and child parental classes and all this stuff in his past matters, because one little blip on the radar is not a big deal, but if he's had issues throughout his life with different rage or whatever it could be, then it could be a factor. Yeah, you guys were great with Seth the other night too. I listened to the
yes, that was really good.
That call-in show, and I'm glad you guys are doing the call-in thing. It's been great. Lab says they consider adultery a lack of trust and a morale decline.
Interesting.
Yeah, so this is kind of the little off topic on Chris. Is that okay?
That's fine.
It really doesn't have anything to do with it. It's just a thought we've had.
Turn the camera off and tell the kids to go with it, but I'll be back.
So something I've thought about is I was listening to another creator, and they were talking about about that family trying to kind of control the narrative in the media, and how at first, those first several weeks, the Proudfoot family really it was a disaster. Every time they went on, they just made themselves look worse and worse and worse in the public eye. And then they kind of scaled that back and just started. It seems like what they kind of tried to do was work more in the background, talking to people and try to be friendly with all these creators and develop relationships and that kind of thing. And, it wouldn't surprise me if he were capable of that, because, I know we've seen him kind of at his worst a lot of times, but to be able to convince women to marry you 5 times by the time you're like in your early 30s, he's got to have the ability to be charming when he wants to be, is something I've kind of thought. So even though we've seen him like really, in those leaked phone calls and stuff like that, and really just blast people and be awful, he must also have the ability to scale that back and throw on the charm, and because I don't think you'd be able to do that if you didn't have that ability, because most women would look at all those marriages as a big red flag. You know what I mean? So if he's it wouldn't surprise me if he's not able to kind of win people over one-on-one when he wants to. I know people in the chat are not sure they believe that or not, but I don't know. It's just a
lot. Did I lose you?
I had. Oh, you can't hear me?
No, I can hear you. I just went off the. I hate when that happens. Can you see me?
Oh yeah, I can see you fine.
Like my screen went black. I don't know why, but it went completely black. I can't see you guys.
Okay, I don't know. Everything looks good on our end.
Okay, there it came back finally. It was just completely black, and all it said, I could see the chat, but the screen was black.
Oh, I know what the problem is. Okay,
it's back now.
There you go. You guys can go through chat. I'm getting people to bed.
Okay.
Yeah. So let's.
Yeah. Let's see.
Yeah, I was just going through the chat here also.
Do you feel Sumner County is corrupt? That was Tam. Say, I think we really are. My opinion is I'm still out. I don't know that I don't know that they're corrupt, but possibly negligent.
Well, we do have. Yeah, we do have this situation going on in Millersville, which is half in Davidson County, half in Sumner. And it's just like literally one town away from where Sebastian lives. So like a 20, 30-minute drive or whatever. And one of their sheriffs got raided by TBI. And not to mention the offices and everything. Like, and what TBI is claiming is that they're there for a variety of corruption issues, including like election fraud and some other things. But that sheriff is saying that he was investigating this kind of more widespread corruption, and that TBI raiding him was their attempt to cover up his investigation. Auntie, you kind of followed that, but am I kind of getting that in the ballpark?
Well, he had been working on it for several years, and Millersville had asked him to step in to work there in the capacity that he's in. And I had to. All you have to do is look up Millersville on X, Millersville Police Department, or Millersville. And I forgot what his exact title is, but there was a huge corruption ring, and they were raided, and it sounded like it was a nationwide thing that involved sex trafficking, human trafficking, as well as voter fraud. And
real estate schemes and stuff like that.
And some real estate schemes and other things. And, that was the first thing I did is I sent it to you and said, do you think this could have anything to do with, some of the corruption that's going on? I'm looking it up.
Well, I guess the thing to me is that, so
it made me doubt it for sure. That along with the Sebastian case made me doubt it.
Well, it's like this though. It's like either way, it's not good, because either there's some corruption happening in Sumner County on just the local level, or the TBI's got a corruption level on more like a state level, and they're also involved in the investigation. And so it's not a great look, regardless, in terms of just the Sebastian case. Right. And then just as far as corruption kind of issues go, I mean, I always kind of have a hard time believing that there's any massive widespread, but that you could have maybe an officer or two in the department that were friends with him might, whatever, not cover up exactly, because I don't think that's happening. But again, I am certainly in the minority.
What he said is that there were local people involved in this nationwide corruption.
Yes,
and so if you're interested in looking that up, just to see if you think it's related, it's the Millersville Police Department Assistant Chief Sean Taylor. You can just put it in X and put Millersville Police, and it will pull it up. And he gives a statement. He's been on several other media things since then, but it is very, I mean, Mrs. E and I were driving and we literally came out a road while we were, just kind of doing visual look around the area when we were looking for Sebastian, and we came out in Millersville. We ended up in Millersville. So that was, it's right there. It backs up to it. And so if there's corruption in Sumner, and it could be on a global scale, national scale. But if you're interested in that, there might be some correlation. I don't know, but it makes you doubt the police department and what's going on as far as the legitimacy of it. At least it does me. Just kind of, I was like, oh wow, another red flag that shouldn't even be related to that. And Trooper's mom says, Auntie, I'm local too. There are just some bad players in Sumner County, LE. Not all, but a few can be a bad thing. And I think we see that in our government as well. I mean, a few bad seeds can cause a lot of problems.
One or two connections could cause a problem for the investigation,
Absolutely.
Look how nice I Spy is. Read that.
I Spy says it's truly revitalizing to watch a drama-free channel. The way you present your content has a profoundly relaxing effect on me. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah,
I
appreciate that. I mean, that's I'm glad that that's how we're perceived. That's what we're trying to do. Somebody says, Flamingo Lisa says, I don't believe you can cover this up. I don't care who you are friends with on the police force. If the FBI is involved, then any kind of cover up, I'm not sure how effective it's going to be at this point. And I don't know if I always think of it more like if they had a friend at the sheriff's department, that what it might have done, my guess would be that it might have bought them some time. Like they might have gotten the benefit of the doubt longer than if they didn't know them and weren't friends with them and that kind of thing. Like they might have bought the runaway story for longer and not realize that it was something criminal in nature. Josh got a laugh. What was the laugh for? The lab says, if you're only one marriage shy of tying the king of England in the 1500s and haven't hit 50 yet. Yeah, right.
That's a good
Josh
one.
is so funny.
Yeah. I mean, it's a thing, right?
Yeah.
It is
I
a
have
thing.
to know, Josh, are you a stand-up as well? Or are you just funny for the heck of it?
Yeah, I think he could be. I didn't hear this. Sweet Pea said this, and I don't remember Dog saying this. It says a subtlety that Dog dropped recently was about DeSoto County, Mississippi. Both RV, I guess, parked that Mr. Foote had his RV parked in were in DeSoto County, Mississippi.
I
hadn't heard. I didn't hear that. It might have been on
the other interview.
The other interview, because I hadn't listened to it as closely as I did this one. I actually listened to this one a 3 times and took notes, and I did not do that with the other one. But that's interesting.
People are funny in the chat.
Yeah, you guys are funny.
Yeah, lots of funny people. Do we, actually, unless you have another part you want to play, there's a part I wanted to do.
Sure.
I thought the starting around 150, 152 for those next 2 minutes were pretty good.
I actually wanted to say this real quick. If there, Nicole Goforth says, if there is a cover up in SCSO TBI can raid their offices just like TBI raided Millersville PD 2 weeks ago. Millersville is in Sumner County. It's actually half and half. It's half in Sumner County and I believe half in Robertson.
I don't know. I don't know.
Or it might be Davidson.
And it's a small town. It's like 6,000 people. Like Hendersonville is like 66,000.
In his statement, though, he specifically said Sumner County Police or Sumner County.
It's okay to meet someone and not ask them to marry you, says the lab. It is okay. It should be okay, right? It should be okay.
Oh, sorry.
That is it is wild,
Yeah. Sorry. I just. Anyway, sorry. What did you want? What part?
I wanted to start at 51:52.
Okay. 51:52.
Yeah, that next 2 minutes is all kind of got a lot in there.
I'm going to go 51:51.
Do not buy new windows if you live in Tennessee. Americans living
They're
in
getting their money's worth on their ads.
I mean, right?
Are saving thousands.
You who that might seem like, no, that doesn't happen. It happens all the time. I am here to tell you, people want to help, and there are so many people working in bureaucracies that are hamstrung, and they want to help, but they feel like they can't. So they find other ways. You can think it's wrong. You can think it's right. I'm telling you, it happens. Go ahead, Doc. Well,
and you know what about the truth serum? I had a judge once. They wanted me, accused me of a crime I did not commit. So while we're in the courtroom, they go, how much do you plead guilty or innocent? I said, innocent. And judge, I demand sodium pentothal. I want a test right now. I want you to strap me down, put me in a hospital, give me that. He goes, in chambers right now. Go back there. He said, dog, you know how many lawyers will be out of a job? You know how many prosecutors will be out of a job? You know how many investigators will be out of a job? And dog, you're a bounty hunter, you'd be one of them. So, case dismissed. Because if you're willing to do that, you know, like Peterson, did he really do that? You know, Scott Peterson, give him, boom, yeah, he murdered.
He would never take the lie detector test. You know that, right? That's where you're going with. He's like, he said he would, and then he backed out of it.
But see how many millions of dollars there wouldn't be any lawyers. What would you need one for? So I love lawyers. I love cops. Did you do that? No. Hook him up. Yes, I did. I'm sorry. Here's the body. You know, that's what I told Seth. Will you do it? He goes, when? Make an appointment right now. And then the other guy, the stepdad's like, dog was going to kidnap, allegedly, he said. Dog is going to kidnap me. See, this guy talks through, Indians say, through many face. I'm half Apache. Many face you talk through. So come on out with it, just like the real father.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah, so it was a lot in there. You know, it's talking again about the bluff that we had mentioned, that it was a bluff, and you know, Seth jumped in there, was ready to do it, and the other side's not. And then they brought up Peterson, who wouldn't take the lie detector and call. And that's all part of that game. You know, it's just to see what you're willing to do so they can kind of, it's almost taking a polygraph is almost how you answer being requested to take a polygraph is almost as important as actually taking the polygraph. Like what's your response to even, you know, how open are you to it and that kind of thing. It tells you a lot. And then his story with the judge and everything, and it's just all, and that's where she mentioned the human sourcing at the beginning too,
right? About
how that's part of the deal. It's a people business, and it gets kind of overlooked. Everybody thinks this is all going to get solved through cell phone data and DNA, but it's not necessarily at this point. It's probably going to be people that bring this home. At least that's what FBI thinks, because they're putting out that $50,000 reward, and they wouldn't do that if they didn't believe they could do this with people.
Right.
That's what they kind of signaled to us with that, you know.
And hi, Sarah's suspicion. She came in here, and Rogue says she doesn't understand. Jennifer Coffindaffer is critiqued a little too harshly, and I don't understand why. I like her. She's ex-FBI. She isn't just some rando. Right?
I actually don't understand this either, and I don't always agree with all of her opinions, but I
don't either. But
yeah, but I think it's it's a huge value to us to have her out here, discussing things, because she has firsthand knowledge how the FBI works.
Right.
So it's amazing to have that kind of access to how to approach things. So yeah, I think she's great. So I don't quite. I guess she's had some takes on other cases or something maybe that people disagreed with, but well,
I wouldn't say that anybody's right 100% of the time.
Yeah, I think, so. I don't know.
We're all speculating at this point, and
just kind of as a host, she did a great job managing Dog too.
Yes,
because he is a bit of a wild card, and she really did a good job of.
She really kept him
kind of doing the interview,
Yes.
But yeah, I someone with that kind of life experience, I'm always open ears. I want to hear what they've got to say. And I've relied a lot on her for my opinions about this $50,000 reward and what that really meant. Because she knows,
This is a good question. We don't know the answer to,
Oops.
but
Wist says, I wonder what percentage of cases are actually solved without any help from the public. I was listening to McDonough on the lab the other day.
And Josh might remember this if he's still here.
Actually, it may not have been the lab. It might have been an interview room. I don't remember which one it was, but he said something like 90% of cases when they're kind of in that 90% of cases, it's the public that solves them. And I think he was trying to make the point that it's there comes a point where the investigators need to start really releasing some information or making things happen. He kind of refers to it like making police work. Maybe it's time to say, hey, this was an object missing from the scene, or this person is now a person of interest, or if you have any information on this individual, please call us. Do something new to kind of get the case moving again if you're kind of getting stuck, because ultimately somebody out there in the public is going to have seen something or has some information that can bring it home.
Right.
I think 90% was the number he gave. I don't know if that was an official number, but that was his take.
One of the things that I thought was really.
Do you have any other clips you want to play from this, or do we want to?
No, I just think it's very telling that Seth was like, "Strap me up, I'll do whatever it takes." Again, that's another check in that category for me, as far as guilt versus innocence. Not that we didn't need anything else, because we've got timesheets.
Yeah.
We've got motive. We've got lots of things that don't add up to make Seth a suspect. So
I'm glad. I know it probably felt annoying to have to go get those timesheets and release them.
Auntie is.
Oh, is she?
Auntie, hold on.
She can't hear. She says.
You can't hear us either. Okay, unplug your microphone and plug it back in.
We're going to have to do like a bloopers reel with this.
I know. This is like the worst. Okay, hold on. You have to unmute yourself. Now try.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Did you mute your computer? How about now?
Can you hear me?
Tennessee Nurse says they can.
Can you hear me?
This happened once before.
It was you guys.
We've had all kinds of technical problems. See, they updated StreamYard, I think, last week, and it's just been all kinds of problems. I'm going to take you off the stage and bring you back up.
So the people can hear Aunt E, but she can't hear, I think.
Okay, now try.
This is just a thought we've never talked about here, but this is.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
See, I'm telling you, StreamYard's done some weird stuff. I wish there was an alternative that was easy. This is easy enough for us to be able to manage. Honestly, there's more complicated, better things out there, but unfortunately, I don't know how to use them.
Well, that comment went away from opinionated, but I wanted to mention it because it's something we just haven't ever talked about before.
Auntie did it.
It's okay.
I'm sure.
It's okay. I remember, but basically, what opinionated was saying was that at this point, the people that are involved. Yeah, I think there might be mutually assured destruction in their marriage if they're both involved. Neither can turn on the other without going down themselves. They hold it over each other from now on.
It's a good point.
And that would, if that is true, then that would be the case. That they're all kind of whoever all's involved. They're all, tied together, and you got to. If they are the ones involved, I mean, how trustworthy have these people been with their other spouses in the past, and can you really trust these people that have all walked away from 4 marriages and things like that? I would wonder if people are sleeping with one eye open if they're involved, allegedly, in my opinion.
Lady T has sent me stop signs. I think she's to tell me that are we having problems? You know what? Chat is really far behind. Like I said, it's really acting weird. I'm sorry, guys.
I think that was from me earlier. But what I was going to say, I like at that 37 minute 40, about 37 minutes and 49 seconds. He talks again about the Ring camera stuff and what they have coming out about the cameras. And I thought that was kind of key information.
Okay, what was the timestamp?
37, about 37:45, if you can get to there.
Sure. I got it exactly. Fancy.
Watch what avocado
Oh my
does to belly
gosh,
fat.
this is making me crazy.
Fun fact, if you
Avocado.
add avocado to a salad.
She's got it on.
No, stay tuned. Oh yeah. So we found some Ring camera stuff. Okay, certain times when they were supposed to be there, they're not. Certain places they're supposed to be. You know, alibis, like you said, everybody will lie for everybody, but the camera does not lie. Photos, you know, they used to say 1,000 words, and now they can change them. But the cameras, if they change them, the footage and the whatever they're called now, the little cards, they can find out if that's changed. And there are some Ring cameras and some other camera stuff that we're just now getting into. So before we get it and drop it, then somebody better, because there's no way a plea bargain can be made or something can happen. You know that after the little boy is found or we find out what happened. Right then it's over. They're going to the penitentiary, whether it's federal, which now is worse than the states, or the state. And whether it's a woman or a man, you go to the prison, federal or state, for harming a baby with autism, a little boy, you got a problem. Who is it right now? Puff Daddy, P. Diddy, whatever his name is put in a federal prison, isn't he?
Yep.
Under protection and all that. Mm-hmm. And remember Whitey Bulger?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I saw Whitey Bulger in San Diego, and my friend said, no, it couldn't be. I said, yeah, it's him, bro, on the walk. And they put Whitey Bulger in the most protected prison in America. And what was it? 2 days later, they plucked his eyeballs out, and the guy did it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did I get your point?
The gist of it.
Okay.
But no, I think that was key stuff. He said we found some Ring camera stuff coming next. Stay tuned. Certain times they are supposed to be there and they're not. Yeah. Certain places that they're supposed to be, the camera doesn't lie.
Yeah.
He said we're just getting into it. I think this is all stuff they've just gotten this week. And he said before we drop it. So I feel like they are working on some camera stuff. And that's all been things that we've, I think, suspected that there had to be some footage out there somewhere.
Oh yeah, and one thing we've heard over and over is how frustrated the neighbors have been.
Oh yeah,
that live over there, and how much they're tired of living this way, and they want this done. I mean, that's why Bobby came forward, is she felt like there was nothing going on, and there's supposed to be other neighbors that are feeling the same way. They want their lives back, and they don't know if they're safe where they are. So if it would not surprise me if several neighbors are willing to talk the dog over there about what's been going on, and giving him information and stuff. So that wouldn't shock me at all.
I thought about this too, Rogue.
If a married couple invokes spousal privilege, meaning they cannot be compelled to testify in a court of law, right. So they would know.
I would say, sorry.
And we did.
I was going to say something. I'm stopped myself.
Yeah, so it's always better to pause.
Yes,
Graham, we did watch the Mob Crew in his camera videos, and they are really interesting. We've watched all of those. I find them very interesting.
Tony says, "Remember, dog doesn't have to be in Tennessee for all of his resources to be engaged." I agree.
Yeah, they could probably do 90% of their stuff remotely, really.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
And I would guess whenever he comes to town.
He sounds like he's already been here and left.
Oh, dog has?
That's what
like that.
I think so.
Okay.
Just to get the lay of the land, I think.
I was just going to say that whenever he does come, my guess would be that it's not announced. That it's just one day he's there.
Ooh, true, Mom.
Auntie E, I've seen some official things happening in Hendersonville myself, but I'm
interesting. We, I guess, are not. because we haven't noticed anything. And
Official things happen.
Auntie's not anywhere near here, so.
I actually had some.
Can you go into detail?
I had some boots on the ground there over the weekend, doing some intel information for me. But other than that, I haven't been in the area.
There are some rumors that we've been getting.
Yes, we have been getting some.
And that's something we haven't talked
helping
about,
some puzzle pieces maybe fall into place.
So we're just
going along with our Florida theory. That's what we call it. Has nothing to do with Florida other than we were talking about it in Florida.
Yeah, there is some of it conflicts that we hear.
Yes. Well, we've already talked it out on the phone.
Yes, we've talked it out on the phone, and
Wanda said, "Spill it."
What?
Well,
well, if we felt like it was really valid and second sourced but we're getting a lot of conflicting information from different sources and what we would probably consider credible sources, but we just don't have enough to back it up to know for sure.
But it's but it might mean that things are moving along.
Ginger girl.
The mob crew said tonight that he has some info but can't release it yet. Stay tuned. He said it was shocking.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I'm telling you, people lately are talking and saying stuff more.
Yeah.
So it's just we just don't know what to make of some things when we find
you know, we have a lot of new people. You might want to tell them our criteria for sharing something because we have a lot of new people here.
We're probably more cautious than we have to be, but we if we've got one single source and we just on something that may be happening, anonymous or even someone we know, we just don't run with it unless we can get it double sourced. So just because we just don't want to be in a spot where, we lose credibility because we've run with a rumor. And that's why even when other people report things, if it's an anonymous, unnamed source that we can't vet, we don't report it at all. Like we don't even factor that stuff in. So it's just overly cautious. We just try to be more fact oriented as much as we can.
Right.
Rather than getting into a lot of the rumors, because almost 95% of the rumor stuff that's anonymously sourced out there just doesn't end up being real.
Right.
It usually ends up being a hoax of some kind.
And we've had some really good
non-anonymous
non-anonymous things sent to us that are interesting, but we are not prepared to share them because we want to verify.
Well, recently, the two of these things that we've had come in conflict or contradict each other a bit, and so, but they both seem like good sources. So there's a problem with the information. So we don't know what it is. So we'll wait. I'd rather do that than because it's an honor that you're all here, and we want to continue to earn your trust, and your time's valuable, and you're choosing to spend it with us, and I don't want to burn you guys on some fake story that we've got tricked on or something. And people do plant stuff. If people are willing to go to the point where they're stealing serpentine belts and, death threats and emails and scaring off, Cajun Navy and all these people, then they also wouldn't mind to plant a fake story somewhere through an anonymous source to try to mess up the narrative and throw people off track. I wouldn't think that'd be beneath people that would do that.
Right.
So we don't always know that people's intentions are good or whatever.
Yeah.
So
we kind of sit on things for a while just to make sure too. If it's something that we do even get double sourced, we might sit on it a little bit just to make sure.
And if it was something that we felt like was of evidentiary value, we would definitely be sharing it with TBI, FBI, dog, whoever first.
Yeah.
But that's not something, it really has more to do with theories and motives and different things. I did want to point this out. Jennison Sexy Ankle says, get Seth and Tony on the panel all cammed up. Well, we don't do a panel show.
Yeah.
This is just a husband and a sister. And so if we have an interview with Tony or Seth, it would be prepared in advance. So we don't just drop links.
And I think the way Seth's been doing it's the right way right now. You know,
Yes.
go on the big stuff. Go do the court TVs. The YouTube stuff is fine, but I mean, at this point, doing just the bigger media. And if he has something he wants to say himself, he's got his YouTube channel.
Yes, he does.
If I were him and I had thoughts I wanted to put out there, I just go to my YouTube channel. That way, someone else can't distort it.
Yeah, and I really liked what he did on the lab the other night too. I thought that was really well done.
Yeah.
Well, I'll be honest. I that was the lab. I was listening to it and I cried.
Oh yeah,
I cried. It hurt my heart.
Yes, I did too. If you didn't feel that pain
in his voice, yeah.
I mean, I don't know what else to tell you.
And TN Nurse loves how cautious we are. Well, we don't want to be the source of misinformation.
I'd rather be what is it people say? I don't want to be. I don't want to be first. I'd rather be right.
Right.
I don't care about being first. I'd rather.
Yeah. Sorry, we've got doggies.
I'd rather
trying to get our attention. Flips. Oh my goodness, you have got Brownie all messed up. Okay, sorry.
This is part of why we're the crime dogs. All the dogs around us all the time.
Yeah.
Oh, Lisa, a new member. Welcome, Lisa.
Yeah, and the guys were great with Seth too. And
oh yeah, I thought it was wonderful.
It was, yeah, if you haven't seen it, it wasn't their latest. It was the one where all three were
Lisa,
together.
welcome.
Welcome, Lisa. Thank you so much for becoming a member.
He gets one track minded. Sorry. Opinionated respects us for that. All right.
I thought Marsha's was funny. She said, I'm hoping someone comes forward that has some information and they can get the reward. I really would love to see someone get the reward for having the piece of information that opens the case and just, cracks it wide open.
Yes.
That would be great.
I think we kind of, unless you have anything else in E, I think that we kind of went over everything.
Yeah.
No, one other point that he made that I thought was interesting, and we don't need to hear it, but he did say that human source development is outstanding. She asked about human source development and how many people had come forward and human source development and said that what is that like for you? And he said it's outstanding. He said we've gotten 4 to 5 pictures just this past week of people sending us pictures of people that they think could be Sebastian or related to the case. And so they are getting calls, and I think that was key in what he was saying with her, was that they are getting stuff, and they have kind of put a jump start on this case again.
Even if they're getting old leads, sometimes just a new person looking at an old lead can lead somewhere too.
That's true.
That happens sometimes with cases, like when they get a new investigator on. So you never know, even if they're getting old stuff that the police have looked over, they might have overlooked something, or it wasn't the right timing with a person, and now they're at a better place to communicate. I can think of other true crime cases where stuff like that has happened. So you just never know. So it's always good to have people come through old information again with a new set of eyes, especially with people that have the experience that Dog and his team have, that you just never know what they might pick up on. So it's all positive. I mean, I know, he has to have his notes to remember some stuff there, but that doesn't matter. He's the figurehead. He's the spokesperson, kind of, he's that guy in the organization. He's got his investigators doing.
He's the heavy. He's got to come in as, he's busting heads, Do
you want to ignore that? Or do you want to?
Ignore it.
Okay.
Let me see if there was anything else before I think we hit everything that I wanted to cover on that. So anyway, it was great. And they're a great source of information. You have people with that kind of experience, you need to listen to them to see what they've got to say. So they're a great, it was a very well done show and a great interview. I don't know when we will be back again. I have a pretty busy week. So if we do another stream, it might be a daytime, which we don't typically do. Because my nights are pretty busy.
And I will get our members trivia out for all of our members. Oh, Michelle.
Thank you
so much. Michelle gifted a membership and Karen Alberini got it. Awesome. welcome. And let me just thank Michelle real quick. And
Wanda Davis said, Mr. E, are y'all safe in that town?
we're fine.
Yeah, I think we're all right.
And welcome. Thank you so much.
But then watch tomorrow. I won't have a serpentine belt in the truck. I don't know. You know,
I don't like to joke about that stuff. So
I know. It's not funny.
welcome, Karen. And thank you so much, Michelle. That was very sweet of you. We appreciate you. All right, guys. I think we're going to wrap it up for tonight. Thank you guys so much. And we appreciate you guys being here tonight. And anything else before I close it out, guys?
No, you guys have been great. Thank you so much.
And thank you to all of our members and all of our moderators. And
so many people.
You're not really helpful tonight. You have been super unhelpful tonight.
Is that right?
You're like out in left field.
Right? Am I right?
Is that right?
I'm right, aren't I? He's been kind of just like in his own head tonight. This is what I live with.
Oh, I'm sorry.
This is what I live with.
I'm sorry.
You have been. Help me. Help me say good night.
Okay, I just try not to interrupt you.
Oh, okay.
Well, thank you so much for everybody. We do appreciate you coming in. We will be back sometime this week, probably a daytime show. But thank you so much for all of the super chats, the memberships, and all the great comments and thoughts. Mm-hmm. Thank you to all of our mods. K-Mac for Tat. Hey Jude was here earlier. I think she's left her a few minutes ago.
Marlena was here. And anybody else that was in here, we appreciate you.
Tennessee Nurse, thank you. Keep pushing that rock, Seth. Keep pushing that rock. I thought that was such a great analogy.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys so much and have a great night. And I will let our members know about the trivia very soon. Little family squabble never hurts anyone.
I didn't realize I was out of it tonight. I thought I was doing fine.
You've been kind of in your own head. He does this. So.
Okay.
He thinks a lot. He thinks a lot.
Thank you, three amigos in chat. All right, guys. And as you know, we wrap it up with our song. So I will get it ready. And
thanks, everybody.
Thank you. Good night, guys.
Good night.
We remember you. We remember you. Ooh. We're still here for you. We'll shine a light for you.